welcome back everyone, welcome back to another day here of the Brazilian StarCraft 2 circuit, day number 2 of Group Stage 2. I'm of course just like VIP. With me and joined by these amazing players by the people in chat and by plushes as well. We are jumping right into our first series, into our first game, and spawning in the top right hand corner. We have the Brazilian Zerg player, the red Zerg for Team Hellfire. It is DakkoN. I will get there. But yes, welcome all. Of course, last night we were live with day 1 of Group Stage 2 of the Brazilian StarCraft 2 circuit. Now we are here with day number 2. Again, as he is ranked number 20 amongst the Brazilian rankings. Let's go. Our DakkoN, and spawning in the bottom right corner we have his opponent. We have his teammates also representing Team Hellfire, the Brazilian Protoss. It is a MasTeR, ranked number 1. Number 1 ranked here in the tournament. Again, MasTeR is number 1, Eric is number 2, INexorable is number 3, as they are the top 3 here of the Brazilian scene. We do have a bit of history here between the players. Of course, MasTeR with 100% win rate. There's a reason why he's the #1 seed of the tournament. And for those who are maybe tuning in for the first time, for those who were not here yesterday for day 1 of the group stage, then welcome to the Brazilian StarCraft 2 circuit, El Circuito Brasileiro de INexorable. Of course, this event is leading into an offline finals. Shout out to the Brazilian scene. They did, as we're going for a proxy hatch. Jesus, we're going to be committing a little bit harder here. But shout out to the Brazilian scene. They did crowdfund together the funds to actually book a venue, to host the event, to the prize pool, and also for some travel costs as well, as it takes quite a bit to travel from one end to the other in Brazil. It's a massive country. The offline event is going to take place in Sao Paulo, papi. Ooh, as the drone goes down and the hatchery is denied. But the offline event is going to be happening in Sao Paulo. And it's going to be happening, I believe, in June. I want to say around June-ish is going to be the offline event. But we have the online portions. We had Group Stage 1, which was 2 weeks ago. Here we have Group Stage 2, and we still have the playoff bracket as well. The playoff bracket is double elimination. Again, we still have a lot to go through when it comes to the online portion leading into the offline event. For now, pool first. We have our initial 12 pool opener here by DakkoN, rushing across the map, going to be chipping away at the wall here. So far, MasTeR, he reacts well. He cornered out his first Zealots, and he's in position. He's in position. He has a pro behind this as well, just in case, just to fully wall off to block any kind of a drone pool. MasTeR expands, and DakkoN, remember, his proxy hatch was denied. Ooh, as Link Speed kicks in, not bad. Jesus, my apologies. I thought it was a 12 pool, it was a 13-12. Early Link Speed takes down the initial Adept, a very nice pickup. Now going for the Cyber Core, and now MasTeR is that much more under fire. That much more pressure here on MasTeR. Again, the Cyber Core taking a lot of damage, taking a lot of hits. And the Cyber Core is going to go down. Not a bad pickup here. And not bad. Behind this, remember, DakkoN, he was joining up a little bit. We have more links flooding across the map. We have some more links on the way, now going back into droning. And again, the Cybercore Snipe does delay any additional Adept production. It does mean that the harassment here is limited for MasTeR. Link Speed also allows DakkoN to get its surround to try to lock down the army. And we're actually mining more gas. Interesting. That is catching me a little bit off guard. So we have extra gas mining for DakkoN as the Epsilon move out across the map. That extra gas could lead into early lair, could lead into early roaches, could lead into a Bane Bust. We have 12 more links on the way, and yep, there it is, Bane Bust. It was good. It was one of the 3 options. It was like Bane Bust, Roach Rush, or early lair, and it is going to be the Bane Bust instead. And Epsilon get a surround, or they get surrounded. Meanwhile, they will scout into the main though. Oh, he gets in. No, I have 1 more second. DakkoN, he did hesitate earlier when it came to shutting down those Adepts, and now we get a full scout, and now MasTeR, he's fully aware of the Bane Bust. Oof. And at this point, I mean, I feel like we have to commit. I mean, we're down 11 workers. There's no droning from here. We gotta double down, papi. We got to double down. There we go. 10 more links on the way. Also, as we get into this, a big shout to Baby Link. Shout to Baby Link. Shout to Late Chrononauts as well. Hope you're all having a great time. Hope you're all enjoying yourselves as the Bane Bust is upon us. We're going for the bust. Slings they poke in. But alas, there's a shield battery, there's force field, and a stalker. It takes what, 11 banelings to kill a stalker, and with shield batteries and force fields behind this, there's no breaking this. There's no breaking this. There's a reason why Bane busts are a little bit less common here in this matchup, or at least you only really see Bane busts if there is a vulnerable wall, right? If there's a pylon or part of the wall, then you bust it up. Behind this, Robo is on the way. Is on the way as that follow-up to get into Immortal production, get into a War Prism to harass across the map. Twilight Council as well. Oracle pokes in, Oracle gets a scout, and the Oracle does confirm the lair. The MasTeR, he just sees everything. He saw the Bane bust, now he sees the lair follow-up. We can see DakkoN is droning, and it is going to be difficult to macro out of this. Very difficult. Taking all of his gases. Because the amount of gases being taken, this does feel like two-base muta. Does feel like two-base muta out of DakkoN. And this MasTeR setting up. We assumed it was going to be glaive up, so no, it looks like a Zalade Archon drop out of MasTeR. Okay. Couple archives on the way. 4 set Archons, 4 set High Templar. DakkoN does open up with Overlord speed. Oracles poke in. They threaten the Queen. The Queen does survive. Queen does get the hell out of there. Oracle's forced back. There it is, two-base muta out of DakkoN. Is this a bold move? Now the Spire wasn't scouted, but the lair was. The gases were as well. So we have Phoenixes already on the way. We're going for a drop of Lords. Okay. Okay, I see you. Oh god, that MasTeR sees you as well. Oh no. So he does see you, does notice. There we go, drop Lord into the main. Making his way in. Ooh, Banelings, they will connect. Not bad. They get 4 workers, it's better than nothing. They do get some damage done. Behind this muta production is going to be on the horizon here, and again, like, I'm impressed that DakkoN he's actually making this somewhat of a game here. I mean, he's still far behind. He still needs critical economic damage, and the problem here is that I believe there's already a Phoenix on the map. There's already Phoenixes out. Let's get another revelation. And another. I don't believe MasTER's actually seen the Spire yet. No, yeah, so he hasn't seen the mutas at least. The mutas are revealed. Archons are building up. There is no blink, so the way to keep up with the air army, to keep up with the mutas, is going to be quite limited. Meanwhile, the prism goes down. Nice pickoff. DakkoN, he's crazy. Takes down 2 Archons in the War Prism. More mutas are building up. DakkoN, he does make his way across the map. Catching in the pylon, catching in the probe. Oh, it does run into the Phoenixes. As they do pull away in time. Yeah, Stalker reinforcements, mutas, they have yet to deal any critical economic damage. They take down 2 Stalkers. The cannon is done. And the mutas are forced back. They're going to be forced back from here. There's mutas, say, oh. Threaten the Oracles. Likewise, rotating over towards that natural. There's still, what, 5 Phoenixes, and yeah, the Phoenix count is getting up to it. Yeah, an amount that cannot be ignored. You can't deal with those mutas. Second star gets on the way. DakkoN is doubling down, is still going back into mass muta production. He's out subbing. Ducklings, they get a decent round on these Zealots as well. Where exactly are the Archons? Going for another Zealot warp in. Okay, the crown army just one Archon's going to be coming in, and we cannot fight the Archons head on. And the Mutas, they just melt to the Phoenixes. And MasTeR heals. He's not just holding. From here he can chase down the Mutas, then he can just go across the map. There's nothing slowing him down. He can lift up a set of Muta at a time. A Ling at a time, and GG gets called. With that MasTeR, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. It was a bold play there by DakkoN to go for the initial 13-12 and to go for the initial Bane Bust follow-up as well. As you mentioned at the time, Bane Busts are really uncommon in this matchup. The exception to that is maybe if the wall is looking a little bit flimsy. If there are pylons as a part of the wall, then the pylons will be the target. But trying to break down the initial units that isn't an Adept or a Zealot can be very difficult. It takes a lot of Banelings. You're heavily reliant on your opponents messing up in their defense. And MasTeR is good enough to be secure for that. So the Bane Bust initially did fail. We did see the switch into 2-base Muta, which actually he got into it. He got into the Mutas and he was able to at least have a standing army. But for the most part, MasTeR scattered it. He responded. He made Phoenixes in time. Had Blink Soul. Had Stalkers. Had Archons. It was fine. GG. GG, well played. But I do believe that DakkoN, it's on him to be a little bit cheeky when it comes to his play. When it comes to trying to bring MasTeR down. That is what we're kind of hoping for. MasTeR, he's the heavy favorite when it comes to some of these longer macro games. Not saying that he cannot bleed, though. Definitely can. Definitely can, especially in this group. We mentioned before, but this is kind of the group of death here, as we are alluding into Group D, of course, inside group stage. And here we go, jumping into game number 2. Whew. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Brazilian Zerg player, the Red Zerg representing Team Hellfire. Down in the series, we'll see if he mounts back. It is DakkoN. In-game score will be corrected soon, I'm sure. Just had to switch over the players. DakkoN once again going for gas first, going for a 13-12. Let's go, let's go. This is not a 13-12. This is a 14-13. Was it 13-13? But this is a little bit later, and here we go in the left-hand corner. We do have the Brazilian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss for Team Hellfire, as well as their teammates. It is MasTeR. MasTeR, the favorite to make it out of the group, to potentially win the entire tournament. We'll see, we'll see. There are definitely other players that can definitely contest him and bring him down, but they're not in this group, not necessarily. I mean, I should say that more securely, as in, like, we have these other big names that can face him down. When it comes to the group, I mentioned before, it is a group of death. There are so many big names in this group. There's MasTeR, there's Shakti, there's DakkoN, there's YanXII. In all of the other groups, you have a mixture of, like, pro players and maybe some Masters players and maybe like a Diamond player. But here in this group, it's all GMs. It's just pure GMs here in Group D, plus MasTeR alongside them. So it's just a killer group. And once again, with the earlier cast, it is going to be fast link speed, and you can see DakkoN, he did not pull out. DakkoN, he's staying in gas, which means most likely a Bailey Nest. Most likely, there it is. Bailey Nest is on the way, so DakkoN is committing to the Bane Bust. And we'll see how MasTeR responds to this. Now, this time it's going to hit earlier, and this time there won't be a Stalker as a part of the wall. So this Bane Bust can be more effective. The wall is going to be a little bit more vulnerable this time. So we'll see if DakkoN can pull this off. Now links back in. Links poking at the front door. No, the Stalker's being chronoed. Shield battery is on the way. Second gateway. No second pylon. But now a second shield battery. Here come the Banelings. But the Stalker is out. And now with the now with the Stalker, this wall is not going to be broken. Here we go. Banelings are waddling in. We have a secondary wall behind this. We can maybe go for the Cybercore. The Zealot survives. Yeah, I mean, it's, as I mentioned before, it's difficult to Bane Bust a Protoss. It's not easy. Just because so many of the units are so robust. Pylon block across the map. Expansion is denied. You can see here 0 units went down from MasTeR. And DakkoN, he has to race back. He has to race back home. He has no more gas income. He's going to try to expand. And MasTeR, upon seeing this with the pylon, he knows that he can freely probe up. He can freely just chill, probe up as well. He's being somewhat active with his army. Ooh, and MasTeR, he actually pushes out. Now, I don't believe DakkoN sees this. I mean, he saw the move up with the Overlord, and we have Lings on the way, thankfully. This is where maybe MasTeR's overextending. If there are enough Lings back at home, then we can shut down these Stalkers. Remember, these Stalkers don't have Blink. There's no Blink, there's no Glaives, there's no Charge. These vanilla units can be vulnerable to Links around. So I'm not in love with the idea of MasTeR pushing out like this, but he is forcing a reaction. He's forcing out a lot of Lings, but MasTeR is committing. So DakkoN has potential to shut this army down. Yeah, he's ready for the surround. Does pounce. Good position here by MasTeR. MasTeR does pull away. DakkoN takes down the Zealots initially. Zealots go down. He forces a recall. Can he get a Stalker? And it looks like, oh, he can. He gets one. Takes down one Stalker. As we mentioned, MasTeR, he couldn't really achieve much with that army, but he did force DakkoN to make Lings and not to drone, which in and of itself is damage. From here again, DakkoN, he's got a lot of droning to do. Stargate follow-up, Stargate into Oracle, delayed Twilight Council out of MasTeR, still on 2 bases, which is fine. He doesn't need to rush into a 3rd yet. It's a more low economic game and that low economic game state here so far. I totally didn't just wake up. We're fine, Papi. We're fine. So here the game is going to slow down for a moment. DakkoN, he still has a lot of droning to do. Meanwhile, MasTeR, when it comes to the fall of Twilight Council, I assumed it was going to be Glaives. Not gonna lie, I assumed it was just going to be Glaved up. So no, MasTeR, he's going for a longer game state, going into Blink. Glaives would have been a way to try to end the game earlier, but instead, going to slow things down, getting to Blink Stalkers, Oracle into the main base, and the Oracle will release Scout. He does get eyes on the lair. Revelation, I believe, does not get eyes on the Spire. It's going to be close, though, as the Spire's behind the mineral line. And, oh, yeah, barely out of vision of those workers. Barely is out of vision. Shout out to Icecar, of course, for observing. That's from here. MasTeR, he is moving out. Again, Blink is now done. And there's not much on the ground here, I'll be honest. Are there many Links to defend? And it also shows just how difficult and how awkward this game state has been. There we go, Link production has begun. Eva Chamber goes down. The Spire is now complete. We can make some mutas, but mutas, they are not going to help against this army. Yeah, as there are 0 Lings, now we have 34 in production. Boys are being pulled. Stasis on the way. And the Stasis will finish. Lings are coming in for the surround, but the Blinks are good enough. And MasTeR, he will shut this down. He will shut this down. Cleans up all the Lings. Pushing into the bases. He is moving in. And there's no saving this hatchery. we try to focus on the stasis trap. I mean, bold move. More boys are being pulled, and there's going to be the final stand of DakkoN. Again, he loses the base, loses the links, loses the queens, and the boys. That's all that's left. The boys. The blink control is too good. And that's going to be all she wrote here for this series. As MasTeR, he will kill every single drone. 29 workers going down. There's still 29 left. Caribbean. Still 29 remaining. And again, I appreciate that DakkoN, he had a more aggressive approach here to the series. Unfortunately, MasTeR, he was able to keep up each time. It was also interesting to see mutas as a response each time as well. Attempting to get into those mutas. 43 drone kills, Jesus. And GG gets called. MasTeR, he will take the series 2-0. He will claim the first win. GG, well played. And as we get into this, a big shout out to Dave Testa. Thank you so much, Dave, for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great time over on your own channel. Welcome, bienvenidos. Welcome one and all to the Brazilian StarCraft 2 circuit, or El Circuito Brasileiro, papi, the SC2. We are live here with the group stage. For those that are curious, this is the beginning of an offline event. There's a big offline event happening in Brazil, in Sao Paulo. Shout out to the Brazilian scene and the Brazilian community, as they have crowdfunded together to book a venue, to pay for some travel costs, and to of course have to boost the prize pool, I should say, as well, for this offline event. It is happening in June, and this is not the offline event yet, but this is the online kind of group stage. This is the online group stage leading into that offline finals. So we're working through it here, working through group stage 2. We've already worked through most of the groups, group A, B, and C. Now we're here with group D. Let's go. So that congratulations to MasTeR, he does claim the first win. And up next, we do have our next set of players. We have Shakti versus YanXII. Now in this group, it is round robin. It's a round robin group stage. We have 4 players. We have MasTeR, DakkoN, Shakti, and YanXII. 4 amazing players. This is, I would say, the group of death. They're all, of course, GMs. They're all pros or semi-pros. And they're looking to face off here in said group stage. Let's go. Let us go. That was merely our first series of the group. Just catching up with the chat. Offline finals based, yeah, exactly. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. Oh. It's catching up. Sleepy caster, a little bit. Yo, it's been a busy weekend, man. It's been a busy weekend. Oh god, we had like what, an 8-9 hour cast on Saturday. Plus we had KSL before that. So we had Sparkling Tuna Cup a couple of hours ago, and originally, so we did miss out on Group C. Group C, we missed out on. Originally, I was going to cast Sparkling Tuna Cup into Group C, into Group D, but I was very tired after Sparkling Tuna Cup, so we got some sleep. Missed out on Group C, but now we're here. We're live. Group D of the group stage. Let's go. Let's go. But yeah, thank you so much for the raid. Thank you. Hope you had a good time, Dave. Hope you had a good time. Let's go. And also a big shout out to iScar as well. iScar, of course, is handling the clean feed for the group stage, and I believe for the playoff bracket as well. So iScar is handling the clean feed. I believe we're casting in English, of course. We have Cosmos in Brazilian or in Portuguese. And Enki alongside Pacheca and Anticario in Spanish. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Abyssal Reef. We have our Brazilian Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Hellfire. It's one of the youngest players, I believe the youngest player in this tournament. It is YanXII. You know, one of these days I'll line up the intro. One of these days. There it is. Let's go. Let's go. Rank number 7. Ranked number 7 in the Brazilian StarCraft 2 circuit. I'm loving the stats that we have for the players as well. In the bottom right hand corner, we have the returning retired legend himself. At one point was the best Protoss. Oh god, it is the Brazilian Protoss player, Shakti for Eximius Gaming. Let's go. Again, Shakti, he's a legend of the scene. I remember casting Shakti back in 2019, 2018. Shakti has been around for a very, very long time. For those that are unaware, Shakti, at one point, he was the best Protoss player in Brazil, and he was arguably the best Protoss player in Latin America. I would have said in his prime, it was between Shakti and Paco Mike, El Paquito. They were top two. They were top two Protosses in the region. This is like back in, what, 2020, 2021, 2022. This is the era surrounding Darkness. If you recall, Darkness, he was the Chilean Protoss player, and he would have been the strongest Protoss in Latin America, but he only came back for like a season. Like he did not come back for a long time, unfortunately. But a shout out to Diego. Like Diego, he still pops by the stream every now and then. It's always like a treat to see Diego drop by the chat. So much love to Darkness. But yes, Shakti, he is a veteran himself. And I say retiree because Shakti did retire. He retired like 1-2 years ago. And he hasn't really been active for a long time until the beginning of this year. The beginning of this year is when Shakti did actually show back up again. And we were surprised. I was like, oh my God, Shakti, Papi, what's going on? Like, it's been a long time. He's like, yeah, like, you know, I got a job. I've been spending time doing other things, like focusing on my IRL career and other things. And recently did come back for fun. So Shakti, he's not playing full-time like he used to. He's not as committed to the game as he once was many years ago. But he, you know, once StarCraft, always StarCraft. Like, he still came back regardless. And despite maybe not playing full-time anymore, he's still in form and he still can threaten even the best players in Brazil. So Shakti is still a force to be reckoned with. Has all the experience. And again, it is kind of like riding a bike here. May not put in as many hours as some of these other players, but he did in the past. And it shows. Likewise, Shakti, he has his own style. Shakti, you might remember him as Nano. Nano was his ID many years ago before. Actually, originally his ID was Shakti, then he switched to Nano for a couple of years, then he switched back to Shakti. Meanwhile, Double Reaper into the main base so far, getting 2 pro kills. Not a bad start here for Yan. It's a couple of workers and then does pull away. You also may notice the map pool. Yes, we're using the previous tournament map pool just because this tournament did begin before the new map pool was really underway. And I believe we're going to be concluding the group stage with this map pool, but coming into the playoffs, we might be switching into the new map pool. But for the group stage, especially because like some of the groups already played out on the old map pool, like just to be consistent, we are committing to the previous map pool. Oh, nice force field, locking down the Reapers, but they do slip away. Reapers, they slip away. Shakti going to be opening up Twilight Council into Blink. And again, welcome to Abyssal Reef. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've casted on Abyssal Reef. Even when it was in the ladder map pool, most tournaments did remove them from the tournament map pools. So it's been a while. It's very massive, it's very big, it's very defensive and known for more longer later games and more turtly styles. So we could be in for a longer one. To have our 1-1-1 into Cloak Banshee. Hallucination does scout, does confirm. Seeing the researching tech lab screams Cloak Banshee, as it is very uncommon to go into Raven and Interference Matrix. There was a time a couple of years ago where it was more common. Meanwhile, we might drop into the natural. 7 probes going down. Yan pulling Shakti apart. Try to keep up, old man. Try to very nice damage. I mentioned before in the lead up to this, but Yan, he's one of the younger players. I remember casting him when he was, he was like, what, 15, 14 years old. I remember he was a very solid player. This is back in like 2021. And I was like, Papi, why don't you play in EBT, in ESL Pro Tour Latin America? And he let us know that like he's not old enough. He's like, oh, no! That's my shot going off, gets one more probe. But at the time, he couldn't even play in EBT because he was a little bit too young. For those that are curious, you have to be 16. You have to be 16 years old to compete in the ESL Pro Tour. That's why you'd had players like Eba or players like Yan not being able to take part. But nowadays, you know, it's a couple of years later. Now he's old. He's like 18 years old. He's like, it's over. It's over. But likewise, nowadays, Yan, he doesn't commit as much time to StarCraft as he used to back when he was younger. I imagine because of his studies nowadays. so he's less active than MasTeR, for example. But they're both good friends. Both good friends. Now the best Protoss from LATAM is Mute. Maybe Este Bombilla. I do rate Mute quite highly. I don't know how I compare Mute to MasTeR, to be honest. I don't know how I compare them, because I do rate MasTeR quite highly. But yeah, I think like the recent wins that Mute has had, like Mute, oh my god, what's my shotgun? Shakti, Papi, calm down. 10 more probes going down, and here comes Yan right down the center, right down mid towards the natural. Likewise, double click Banshee towards the right hand side. We have a tripod attack from Yan, and Shakti, he cannot keep up. His army here at the natural, probe's gonna be falling. Likewise, my drop towards the natural base as well. Banshee's into the main, and the main army sneaking up on the third. And just pulling Shakti apart. Gonna be 17 probe kills. 17, 18, getting up to 20. Now, thankfully, Shakti does meet up with the main army. They will shut this down. Takes down the tanks, takes down the Marines. So Shakti, he will win the main fight. But Yan, he still gets 20 worker kills, and he's still not done. No shot. The mine shot. Doesn't quite go off. Doesn't quite connect to Banshees. They're still on full HP. Full HP. Running out of energy though, as they're finally going to be dealt with. Finally, one goes down, but this is critical damage. This has gotten out of hand. 26 probes. This entire time, Yan has been building up back at home. The Colossus is still a unit that has to be respected, of course, but there's no economy behind this. Like the support, the buffer for the Colossus is going to be limited here for Shakti. And it's going to snowball out of control. But yeah, when it comes to Mute's accolades, like taking maps and taking series off of Cure and Classic, this was like at the start of the year, or this year in 2025, were some really big results. So because of that, like I think I might lean into Mute more than MasTeR, specifically because of those results. But it's hard to say because MasTeR also doesn't play in those open cups, right? We need a show match, true. Get him in for the best pilotos in Latin America. True. Get him in. Okay, Iceguard, yeah. Yeah, Iceguard, he's adminning and also observing for the event. So much love to Iceguard. As from here, Yan is building up, and we mentioned earlier how large and how defensive Abyssal Reef is, so it can be difficult to really press your advantage, but Yan does have the advantage. Like Yan, he's on 3 bases, Yan has a higher worker count, he has mules on top of that, so Yan has a better economy. Likewise, Yan, he's building up his army, he's up 50 supply, and there's nothing really pressuring Yan to push at the moment. I would say that ideally he does want to break out before Shakti hits critical mass of Colossus, before he gets up to 3. And speaking of, here he comes. Yeah, and he goes for the Unsiege. He does push. That's a lot of Marauders. He's got a handful of Vikings as well to help deal with the Colossus. Shakti trying to keep up. He does have some spotted pylons. He's getting his 4th base. He's somewhat in position. There we go. Pylon does spot the main army of Yan. Shakti's got 3 Colossus, but really he only has 3 Colossus. There's only a handful of Zealots, a handful of Stalkers. There's not much support. From here, tank does siege. Tank does siege. He will get the first Colossus. Yeah, the first one does go down. Sims in, he gets 1. And now he's going for the other 2 as well. Again, there's just no support for the Colossi. Oh, there's another Colossus though. Jesus. Back up to 3. I do believe that Yan has enough to break this position, but he's taking it slow. He's a little bit tentative. Okay, he's not feeling it. He backs off. You know, Banshee into the bases, into the mineral lines. Yan just securing a more direct path into the fourth. Banshee hits the natural, and Yan's moving in. It's moving in. Nice kiting, but the Vikings are going to be targeted. There's still more Vikings coming to reinforce, so he gets one. It takes down the Colossus, breaks through the Stalkers, and there's just not enough on the ground. GG gets called, and Yan will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Yan does take a lead in the series. Again, an impressive game there out of Yan, just pulling Shakti apart with the Widowmine drops, the Banshee harass, the main army as well. It was impressive to see him just go for this tri-pronged aggression and pull the attention apart of Shakti. He had some army to work with to defend, but alas, the attention was not quite there. And impressive stuff there. Very fast play out of Yan, which is what he's known for. That's where his strengths do lie. And we'll see if Shakti can adjust. We'll see if he can take a breath, recover, try to keep up with some of the more younger players in the scene. Let's go. As game 2 is going to be on Whispers of Gold. Jumping into game 2. Ooh. And we'll see if we can force the ace match. We'll see how Shakti will adjust. As spawning in the top right, or in the bottom right hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Hellfire. It is Yan. Not quite. Waiting for the zoom, But again, he's leading the series 1-0. So far looking in good form. There he is, ranked number 7. In the Brazilian StarCraft 2 circuit. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the veteran himself, the Brazilian Protoss player for Eximius Gaming. It is Shakti. Rank number 9. And again, Shakti has been less active. It's been really cool to see, though, his return to form. As you can see, we have some back and forth history here. Shakti has won 100% of the time, but you can see here, he went to the ace match against Yan in Amantes' StarCraft. He went to the ace match against Yan in Code for Giants Cup as well. So they have traded blows, but so far, Shakti, he has won every series. And this could be the first for Yan. I mean, now would be the time to peak in skill. It's getting in towards that offline event. So now double gas open out of Yan, going for a faster factory, going for a delayed CC. Likewise, he does open up reactor first as well, so no Reaper, no SCV scout, no Reaper scout. Not yet. So we'll see how this all comes together. I mean, again, aggression makes sense. Whispers of Gold is the smallest map in this previous map pool. Shortest rush distance by ground. Aggression is heavily favored on Whispers of Gold. And there it is, a reactor to Reaper Hellion. Okay, now we'll see how hard he commits to this. If he goes up to 4 Reaper Hellion, up to 6, like 6 and 3 Hellions. 6 Reapers, 3 Hellions, I mean. See how many Yan does make. Likewise, Shakti going for a more safer standard opener, going Sentry first. This does mean that he won't be able to delay or disrupt the economy of his opponents, as that would be the case if we did open up Adept. But the Hallucination will securely scout everything across the map. As the power of the Sentry opener is that Hallucination. Speaking of Hallucination, gets a full scout of the main, gets eyes on the 1-1, is now where there's no one-way soul in, but also is aware of the composition. I believe he did catch a glimpse of the Reaper Hellion. As we are getting up to 4 Reapers. Yan does move out. Now the goal and the reason why you would invest this heavily into Reaper Hellion in the early game is for economic damage, right? It's to get into mineral lines, it's to focus on probes, it's to take that economic lead. And we'll see if we can pull this off. As he does go for the mineral line. Shield battery is ready. Nice force field, locking down the Hellion of all things. The Hellion gets locked down, the Hellion does fall. So far, 2 probe kills. This is okay damage, but again, that shield barrier putting in so much work. As Reapers, they get 3 probes. They get 3, there's the NG overcharge, and 3 probes. That is not good enough. And Shakti holds. Shakti holds, Shakti defends. Again, that was 3 workers for, what, 2 Reapers and a Hellion. Yeah, that's not quite worth it. And yeah, he doesn't quite get into the main. Now he will. Stepping into the main base, he will confirm the tech of choice. He will confirm any extra gateways. There's going to be a Twilight Council with a blink. I believe this is 3-gate blink from Shakti. No, sorry, 2-gate blink into a 3rd. So very greedy here for our Protoss. So because they walk across the map, Cyclone is ready. Reapers are still doing what they can. These Reapers are cleaned up. At the same time, though, Yen, he catches the Stalker. Does catch a Stalker, pulling away, throwing down these extra Raxes, getting to his own 3-1-1 setup. Ooh, going for early drop play. Oh, he does spot it. Stalkers, yeah, they barely catch a glimpse. Did Shakti notice? I think he did. Yeah, you can see his army. He does respond. He's hunting down that medevac. Oh my god. He's hunting it down, and he will catch it. Barely takes down the medevac. Catches the Cyclone. Everything goes down. Yeah, and losing map control. And as opposed to the previous game, this has been a rough start for Yan. He lost his Reaper Hellion, he lost his drop, he's contained on 2 bases. Shakti is freely mining on 3. Yeah, Shakti looking much more solid this time. And Yan getting a little bit too excited. So he comes to me that once again going into the Banshee. Actually just pull a couple of boys. Boys are being pulled, bearing in mind the Banshee does not have cloak. Not this time, just a vanilla Banshee. But he's got 3 tanks. The boys are here to repair. They can also throw down some bunkers if need be. And this is hyper committed here on 2 bases. Basically 2 base all in out of Yen. Oh, but he bleeds out Marines. Bleeding out some bio. And Shakti, he's aware of this ahead of time. There we go. Shield batteries are on the way. Safety immortal production. More charge loss also warping in. And this is looking a little bit bleak here for Yan. Tanks setting up. Oh no, a tank gets caught out. A massive pickup. Takes down one of the tanks. The others are unsieged. And with that, the tanks are going down. He gets 1, he gets 2, he takes out the Banshee. And Yan is going to be cleaned up completely. Losing every single tank, 10 SCV kills. And that's all he had left. And that's the all-in just crumbling. The all-in fails. Shakti takes map control away from him. And there's almost nothing left. There's almost nothing left here. Shakti would double the supply. Here, the soup is not lying. It's not lying. Not this time. Boys are being pulled to repair. And Yan can maybe hold the line for a little bit longer here, but god. Again, the economy is still in shambles. Stalker's going for the Banshee. A bold move. They will get it. Banshee does go down, takes down both Banshees. Now trading with the bio. Some rough trades here from Shakti. Definitely are some rough trades. Not the cleanest assault. If you had focused on the bunker at the beginning, I believe the bunker would have been broken, but it was hyper-fixated on those Banshees. From here, he's just warping in, 7 zealots at a time. Unfortunately, he has no warp prisms, so the reinforcements are delayed. But there we go, the bunker goes down. Oh yeah, it's stemming in though, punishing this army. may lose the bunker, but he will take down the Immortal. Okay. Shakti overextends. So overextend, a scan, takes down both observers. Yan's still in this. I mean, Yan is still struggling economically, don't get me wrong. He's all down 20 SEVs. But he's fighting well. Middlemans are connecting. Zealots get cleaned up. Very efficient fights here for Yan. And he needs more of this. He needs more of Shakti being a little bit uncommitted and bleeding out units here and there. Nice blinks. This blink does avoid. Likewise, warping in 9 zealots at a time, and this may just be too much. It's impressive that Yan has held for this long, but behind this there's no Weirdo Mines, there's no tanks. It's pure Marine and 1 Marauder. Shakti should have enough here. As he's on 4 bases. No gases. There's no gases at the 3rd, the natural, or the 4th. It's almost pure zealot reinforcements. Does pull the boys. Kites back well, but SCVs are falling. Oh, going for the whole position micro though. Despite that, the Zealots just have their way with those Marines. And we have more Zealots on the way. Here comes the next wave. And next wave does trickle in, takes down 24 SCVs, and this is the final stand of Yan. GG gets called, and Shakti ties up the series. We are going to the ace match. GG. Again, a much more solid defense here by Shakti. Remember, at the start of the game, the Reactor Reaper Hellion didn't do much damage. Likewise, the follow-up drop also got shut down as well. It was just a very rocky start for Yan, and it meant that Shakti, he had full map control. And what did he do with that map control? Took fast 3rd. He rushed into the 3rd base, he rushed into the 4th base, got full saturation with pure minerals, and from there he was just able to maintain map control and overwhelm. Just being very greedy here after the initial aftermath, after the early game aggression. GG. GG well played. With that, we're going all the way to set ace match, and honestly, this can go either way. This can go either way. I'm hoping for. This can go either way. It's hard to say which way this will go here. I mean, Yan had a really strong showing in game 1. I'm curious what map we load into in game number 3. We have the answer. Up next, Ley Lines. Ley Lines is coming up next. I'm sure that Yan is going to calm down a little bit. We saw him not really have much success with the early Reaper harass. So it would be worth just slowing things down, playing more mid-game oriented instead. We'll see. We shall see. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ley Lines, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Hellfire, being forced into the ace match. We'll see if he can bring it all back here. It is Yan. Oh. It is. And again, not the most active player anymore, not like he used to be, but, you know, still, of course, taking part in the circuit, in the scene, doing well for himself. And spawning in the bottom right corner, we have the Brazilian Protoss player. It is Shakti for Eximius Gaming. The veteran himself. Of course, fighting back, clawing his way back into this, forcing the ace match. And hello, probe, what's going on? A very early probe across the map, being kept hidden, and then going for the proxy. Oh boy. Now, what are we feeling here? Based on this location, this would not be a bad place for a proxy Stargate. Proxy Stargate, Oracle into the main, and then just macroing from there. But there are definitely some more spicy builds where I know you can go proxy Stargate Void Ray with shield battery supports, but we have confirmation, no Cybercore, no proxy Stargate. It is going to be a proxy Gateway. So 2-gate opener here by Shakti. Oh boy, this can hit quite hard. So typically the goal of this is he makes a Zealot back at home, and back home he will be, I believe he should be reinforcing with a Stalker with the proxy Gateway, and then back home with an Adept to shade across the map. So a bit of everything, but the Adept does get across the map quite quickly. Double gas opener out of Yan. Now, the double gas opener does mean a faster factory, that is true, and Yan, he should be relatively safe, but the problem here is if he gets a CC on the low ground. The CC is going to be later, and the CC may even be denied with this early game aggression. Stalker's on the way. Okay, going double Stalker, no Adept. There's that CC on the low ground. Reaper Hellion is not going to help defensively, not against this many Stalkers this early on. Can be 2-coded Stalkers, so yeah, it's going to be 2-coded Stalkers. And again, the purpose is to disrupt the economy, is to get on top of that building SCV. Hellion at least does confirm, Yan he reacts, he pulls back. And yeah, the CC is going to be denied. It will not finish, and forcing a cancel here would be huge. Oh boy, and it's going to be a tough hold. The Widowmine can help. I mean, there's no blink, so the Widowmine can potentially snipe one of these Stalkers. Widowmine does borrow. Shakti going for the depot, and there's a cancel. And Shakti got what he wanted. And with that, Yan, he's stuck at one base. Maestro goes off, takes out a Stalker, so one Stalker goes down. Behind the Shakti's on 2 bases, getting into a Twilight Council, working towards Blink. We are going for the mineral line, not bad. Yeah, and he finds some damage. Does find damage. It's going to be 4 probe kills across the map. I'm loving the full heal. Oh no, it doesn't kick in. It takes a couple of seconds. Oh yeah, the full heal is denied. Stalkers, they bust into the main. Take another, what, 3 SCVs. They pick off the Marines. The Cyclone will shut this down, but this is still brutal damage. Like, as we mentioned, the purpose of this build was to ideally force a cancel, and he did, right? He canceled the CC. He shouldn't quite get the Cyclone. And even though he runs out of steam, even though he doesn't kill Yan, he is containing him. He's containing him, scribbling in the economy. Shakti, he's on 2 bases behind this. He was able to deal with the Hellion Reaper. Yan even getting supply blocked. Ay, ay, ay. Brutal supply block. And it's going to be a tough follow-up here for Yan. It's going to be difficult. So he fans out with his Reapers and his Liberator. Shakti should have a recall if need be, as he does reinforce across the map. Back at home, I'm not so sure how much he has to defend. Yeah, not much at all. The boys are being pulled. Jesus. The boys are being pulled. The Reapers dealing quite a bit of damage themselves. Tonight mining time. Liberator into the main. As we are within range here of the add-ons. Range, Depot goes down across the map. 7, 8 probe kills with that 1 Liberator. Late reaction out of Shakti. Nice damage. I mean, the Liberator and the Reapers, they did well for themselves. Likewise, Cyclones, they defend back at home. And Shakti, he attempted to get a 3rd base earlier, but he was denied. Now he's going for it. He's setting up for the 3rd once again. Yan is breaking out, and Yan, he's recovering. I wouldn't say he's fully there yet, but he's getting there. as he's landing his CC. As Yan gets his natural, Shakti's getting his third. Tanks are a little bit far out of range. Oh, and these are brutal trades. Cyclone goes down. Gets a second Cyclone as well. And Shakti, he might just dive. Yeah, he's going for it. Does go for the dive, takes down the tank. Not the cleanest trade here out of Shakti, bleeding out a lot of Stalkers. There's 10 Stalkers going down. But these are trades that Shakti can afford more so than Yan. Right, because of the superior economy, Shakti, he can afford this, he can replace it. Yan's still stuck on a one-based economy, still not mining from the natural. And GG gets called. There's just too much damage here. The natural is broken, and Shakti, he will take the series at 2-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Yan honestly had a really strong showing in game 1. I was very impressed by Yan in game 1, like he was looking dominant. But we saw that in game 2, Yan, he got a little bit too excited. He was hyper aggressive early on. He got punished for it with his initial Reaper Hellion aggression, with his drop play as well. Here in game number 3, we had Shakti taking the role of the aggressor instead. And this time, both in game 2 and in game 3, Yan, he never got into the mid game. He never quite got there in a comfortable position. He never got into like his swing of things where he could be active, where he could harass and engage and have any kind of map control. That just didn't happen. After game 1, never again, never again. And with that, Shakti did shut him down, and Shakti, he will claim the series 2-1. GG. GG, well played. And that leads us into, I would say, the highlight series of this group. Up next, MasTeR versus Shakti in a PvP. Let's go. I would say these two being the two best Protoss players in Brazil currently. I know that AlisoN has been practicing and AlisoN has been improving. That is true, but I still would rate Shakti above AlisoN, and we'll see how our players approach this. Now, MasTeR is the heavy favorite, that is true, but Shakti actually has brought MasTeR down before. Like, Shakti still has that experience over MasTeR. MasTeR may be the younger, faster player, but Shakti, yo, he can still cheese him out. He can still even control Blinkstalker as well, even out control him. There is a lot of potential here for Shakti. Let's go. As we are getting ready here. Game 1 is going to be on Amygdala. Okay. They're just conducting their vetoes. Banger, man. Yeah. Let's go. Coming into this, I think I would say that these are the top 2 players of the group, but at the same time, like, as we saw, like, Yan can definitely threaten Shakti, and I can see a world where Yan actually defeats Shakti as well. If we had, like, again, a bit of a more, like, standard game 2 or game 3. Something more mid-game oriented. Here we go. Readers are done, players are ready, and we are jumping into game number 1. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Amygdala, we have the Brazilian Protoss player, the Red Protoss representing Eximius Gaming. We just saw him take down Yan, and we'll see if he can do the same to his next opponent. It is Shakti. God damn it. Almost. And there it is. Rank number 9. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the number 1 ranked player in the Brazilian Soccer 2 circuit for Team Hellfire. It is MasTeR. We go as MasTeR does move out ahead of time across the map. Is going for an earlier scout. You can see the history between these two players. MasTeR with a hefty lead, 77% win rate against Shakti. Against Shakti, he has taken maps and he has taken series himself. Shakti, he has threatened MasTeR at times. We'll see if this is going to be one of those times. As we have our openers here, interesting. So we have a 2-gate opener out of MasTeR. Meanwhile, Shakti going for a gate cyber expand. Okay. So Shakti is cutting corners, doing his best Max Packs impression. And MasTeR, upon seeing this, yep, Proxy Robo, 1 base all in. So basically, the red Protoss player is being greedy. The red Protoss player is skipping their second gateway and going for a faster tech and faster expansion. Because of this, MasTeR is here to punish with what should be a Proxy Robo into a 1 base all in. Like MasTeR, he's ahead in production. Shakti does go Stargate before expand. And MasTeR, there's a Proxy Robo. So this is going to be a tough hold for Shakti. Specifically, Shakti has to recognize what's going on as the Oracle's rallied into the proxy. Shakti is still expanding though. Does expand. Did we see a probe scout out of our red Protoss? I don't think we did. Okay, now we did. Now we did. Yeah, no probe scout. No probe scouts. MasTER's rallying across the map. And now you can see the worker coming in for Shakti. Central depth is going to be cleaned up. Probe heads into the main. But Shakti, the probe just went down on the minimap. MasTER moving in. And MasTER is going, interesting, War Prism first. Let's go Prism first. Not Immortal. Shield barriers are completing. MasTER poking in. Void Rays on the way for Shakti. He needs as many Void Rays as possible. And he does confirm the proxy. He's aware. Oracle, oh my god. Takes the volley to the face. Prism has arrived. And with this Prism, MasTER has defensive blink. He can micro back, he can juggle his units. Or takes down the initial Zealot. Zealot goes down, Voids are being pulled. Nice control so far. Preserving those Stalkers, hasn't lost one yet. Oracle gets across the map, but there is a shield battery. Nice control, still preserving those Stalkers. I don't think a single Stalker has gone down yet, and the Void Ray falls, and he started. GG gets called, MasTER breaks the natural, and MasTER will take game number 1. GG. Yeah, MasTER does take a lead. Does take the first game. Again, Shakti, unfortunately, he, in a sense, was a little bit greedy. He delayed his Oracle across the map. He wasn't able to get any damage done. And likewise, there on the low ground, he had a bit of a later reaction and later scout, if you recall, when it came to his probe scout. There are definitely ways to react a little bit harder to this, going for a robo before expansion, for example, getting into immortal production. Alas, he did attempt out low ground defense and wasn't quite able to hold on. Also, shout out to MasTER, because MasTER had some very impressive control there with his Warp Prism. Again, I don't think he lost a single Stalker until the end of the game. It was very impressive there, able to preserve his units, able to juggle back and just maximize damage, maximize DPS. GG. GG well played. With that MasTER, he will break Shakti, and now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. Jumping into game 2. And we'll see how the story ends. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have our Brazilian Protoss player, the red Protoss, down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can make a series out of this. For Ximi's Gaming, it is Shakti. And there he is. He is, meanwhile, spawning in the top left-hand corner. We have the other Brazilian Protoss player, the blue Protoss for Team Hellfire. It is MasTER. Oh, Ice Guy, he doesn't give us much time, does he? For the second one, he just zooms in. Oh, God. Here we go. Once again, just swinging off the history between the players. The recent history, I should say. I really appreciate like this little graphic that he has. I kind of like the idea of incorporating that into our own cast, but I know it's a lot of work because they already know the matchups ahead of time, so they already prepare those like score lines, those head-to-head score lines ahead of time as well, because it is a round robin group stage, so they can prepare that. But I like the idea of showing that off. I'm sure there's a way to automate that, right? Where maybe have a... As we're going for Jesus, we're going for another one base all in. MasTeR, calm down. I mean, same build. Okay, so just for a moment here, Shakti does open up Gate Cyber into faster expansion with potentially faster Stargate, but one gate opener out of Shakti. Mastery confirms, and Mastery responds with a proxy with a one base all in. Shakti, he's faster to scout, and he will come across this. Or will he? No! Oh, he's so close! No, he's so close. He does graze the edge of the pylon. He does not confirm the proxy pylon, does not confirm the all-in that's coming his way. He doesn't know. Now, thankfully, it is not an all-in. That is a proxy Stargate. Okay. So this is not an all-in. A proxy Stargate is designed to get economic damage, but not designed to all-in. So MasTeR, he will be building up into a longer game state, and Shakti will survive. And Shakti, he does scout, does confirm, he does get eyes on the Stargate. Now, the chances of the Stargate doing damage is much lower, because all you need is one shield battery in your main, and the one Oracle isn't going to get much done. There is still potential with the stasis trap, true, right? You can still stasis the mineral line, you can still try to catch your opponent off guard, but there's a lower chance for damage to be done. And there we go, we have Phoenix first out of MasTeR, so out of Shakti. Does open Phoenix. Double Adept threatening a shade. And he shouldn't get into the main. Oh, he shouldn't, but he does. Oh god, 2 Adepts taking one-shot probes. And probes are going down. He gets 1, 2, 3, 4, almost up to 5. Thankfully, he's being cleaned up. Brutal damage in the main. And brutal damage. Oracle's rallying in. And the proxy is going to be depowered, which was a given. Is going to be depowered. Likewise, we have our expand behind this, going to the Twilight Council. MasTeR not even too far behind when it comes to the expansion. He's still looking for a way in. Oh, Shakti did commit quite hard into those Phoenixes. Getting up to 3. Meanwhile, the Oracle does slip away. Heads for the base. Shield battery is not ready. Oof. That's going to be another, what, 3 probe kills. Does go for the recall. Barely escape. Oracle does make it back home. And doesn't quite get the stasis. As you can see, MasTeR, he is up in economy. Does have that economic lead. Shakti, he commits. He does lift up the Stalkers. Not bad. He gets 1. Takes down 1. The shield barriers aren't ready, but more Stalkers are coming to reinforce. Boys are being pulled. MasTeR did waste some DPS here on the Phoenix. Now going for the Stalkers. He gets 1. Oracle does bypass the Phoenixes. GG. He gets into the natural mineral line. And MasTeR, he defends back at home. He attacks across the map. And MasTeR, he will claim the series 2-0. Wow, GG. Again, despite the Phoenix opener, Shakti did not catch the Oracle neither time. Damage was still being done. Economy was falling. Remember, the opener of Shakti was meant to be economic. He was meant to have the economic lead, but not at all, right? He was just losing worker after worker to the initial Oracle harass, to the follow-up as well. Likewise, back at home, the Stalkers did barely defend. Did just barely defend just in time, and with that, GG. GG, well played. Impressive play there by MasTeR to kind of thread the needle to avoid the Phoenixes to get across the map despite the Phoenix opener. Remember, the Phoenixes, they were designed to shut down the Oracle, but they failed to. They failed to shut it down. The Oracle was able to slip away time and time again. GG. GG, well played. With that, MasTeR will claim the series, and we are halfway through the group. Up next, we have YanXII versus DakkoN in a ZVT. Let's go. Whew. Let us go. Our players are getting ready. Feeders underway. It's been a while since we casted DakkoN. We've been focusing a lot on the Protoss players, but DakkoN, of course, he is the Zerg in the group, and he's going to be up against YanXII. DakkoN, of course, we previously did see him against Shakti, going for non-stop aggression and non-stop all-ins. We had Bane Bus. Sorry, it was against MasTeR, if I recall. Yeah, sorry, it was DakkoN against MasTeR, where we saw Bane Bus, we saw 1312s, we saw Ling Floods, 2-base Muta, attempted 2-base Muta. Just hyper-aggression out of DakkoN did fail to break MasTeR. But we'll see if he has better success versus YanXII. We shall see. Loading in. And I'm looking forward to seeing some more like standard mid game here from DakkoN. But we'll see, we'll see. I know he can be quite cheesy. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Hellfire. The man of the hour himself. It is YanXII. One of these days we'll light it up. One day. There he is, ranked number 7 in the standings in the Brazilian circuits. And in the top right hand corner, we have his teammates. We have the blue Zerg player, also representing Team Hellfire. It is DakkoN. And number 20. Likewise, a GM in his own right, but less active. He has been a little bit less active as a player in all of these tournaments. There, as you can see, the history here, 66% in favor of YanXII. Right, I was going to mention this earlier, but as YanXII does have the winning record over DakkoN, but not completely one-sided. But I was going to mention that I believe that there would be a way, maybe not as fancy, but there might be a way to, I don't know, like pull data from a Ligulac, set like the head-to-head to the players, and for like a graphic to maybe reveal and show the most recent results. I say not as fancy because obviously these graphics that you're seeing are done manually, and they actually show the name of the tournament. They show the score, the name of the tournaments, the win percentage. Like it's very well done, very well done. But I'm thinking of like an automated process to have that on the fly instead of setting up ahead of time for weekly tournaments specifically. I'm thinking like for weekly tournaments. I'm sure it's possible. But I'm very interested. I like because I like that graphic. And very often, whenever we're casting like Woody TV Mondays or KSLs or Pickasaur Mondays, we often do that. I say often. Like every now and then, we look that up anyway. I like tab out, open up Wikipedia, look at their recent match history, just to like compare their most recent results, or to like verify like some memory that I have of like, oh yeah, like last week, like this player took the series, or this is a rematch. It looks good. It does look good. Ooh, as meanwhile was a pull first opener out of DakkoN. He does slip across the map. Getting 2 SCVs behind this, going for a Roach Rush. My apologies, just a little bit distracted talking about the graphics. But yes, we do have initial pull first into Roach Rush from DakkoN. He does delay the CC of YanXII. And YanXII is going for a 1-1-1 follow-up, not a third CC. Going for a faster starport. He's setting for his now starport. DakkoN moves out with his first wave of roaches. Now, this is not an all-in. DakkoN is moving out with 3 roaches, I believe, potentially up to 5. But behind this droning. Behind this, he's droning up, he's saturating, he's not committing to an all-in. This is designed to delay and deny mining at the natural for as long as possible, while the Zerg player drones up and gets a 3rd. Speaking of, DakkoN does right on his 3rd base. Ooh, he does not deny the Hellions. That is dangerous. We do have a cloak on the way for those Banshees. Roaches, they deny mining. And back at home, DakkoN fully walls up. Throws down a full Evo wall. This does ensure that the Hellions do not get into the mineral line. DakkoN should be cancelling those Evo chambers as his roaches pop out. He shouldn't let the wall finish. Uh-oh. These roaches, they knock down the initial wall. They try to at least. Yeah, the Banshee will defend. We'll clean this up. And the wall does finish, actually. Yeah, DakkoN otherwise distracted. Does take down 4 SCVs. Not bad. But now he's locked in. And now he's isolated from his own 3rd. He's isolated. There's a scan. Reveals the gases. Reveals the lair. This looks like 2 base muta. And yeah, and he could check for the 3rd, but alas, he's just walking. He's just knocking down the wall. He's going for the Evo chamber, knocking down the wall. Speaking of, yo, shout out to Cosmos. Papi, obrigado. Bom dia, papi, bom dia. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great cast covering the Brazilian Soccer 2 circuit, El Circuito Brasileiro. Thank you so much. Thank you so much as we're covering the same event. But here we go. The Evo chamber does go down. Yeah, and he busts into the natural, gets up the queens. Yeah, takes down 1. Oh, gets into the mineral line as well. Drones are getting roasted. And before we can even think about the mutas, the boys are being pulled in. Not like this. Every worker's going to go down. 16 drone kills. Hellion slips into the main. And do we get a scouter? Do we get eyes on the spire? We do. So yeah, and he is aware of the mutas. And what mutas? As the economy is crippled, the Banshees are still popping up. Where's the anti-air? Where are the queens, Papi? They got taken out. The Banshees are still not done. Getting another 5. Oh god, getting 7. Getting to 8. And the mutas will eventually think that the Banshees were back at home. Yen is getting ready. Getting ready with his turrets, his greens, his bio. Still no mining at the natural at all. Yen made the right call. If you remember, I was saying that he had 2 options. He had 2 choices. He could either go for the 3rd and kill the 3rd, or bust into the natural. And hey, breaking down that front door was worth it in the end. Meanwhile, the mutas are revealed. Yen is fully aware. Back at home, he's got double the economy. He's got the Marines, and he's now moving out. I believe Stim is done. Stim is complete. You're just catching up. Greetings, Commander. Oh, hello, Raiden. Hello, hello. Tell my guys not to give spoilers. Have fun. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Do appreciate it. We'll get into it. As Marines, they move in. Whilst they graze the army, but there's barely a standing army here. And mutas, they cannot fight this head on. Not against this many Marines. The man with gun is here. They take down the roaches. There's 2 Ravagers left. Mutas, they get across the map. The turrets aren't not ready. Uh-oh. The turrets aren't ready, but there's plenty of production. And yeah, and he's still knocking down that front door. Running out of Marines, though. The turret's done. Oof. And the turret does finish. Muta pulls away. Yen diving in, takes down the natural. Not the cleanest execution, as he does bleed out a medevac in the process. But overall, DakkoN is stuck on a 1-base economy. I don't think Yen ever scouted the 3rd, I'll be honest. Don't think he ever saw it. I mean, it's fine, it doesn't need to. Ooh. As Base take the Banshee. Not bad. Banshee goes down. And the soup does lie. The supply does look closer than it really is, bearing in mind that a lot of that supply are in workers for... Sorry, a lot of the supply are inflated with roaches from DakkoN. So it's mainly a roach-based army. It doesn't scale too well into a longer game. And very supply dense. Boys are being pulled. Marines, they go for the stim. They avoid the biles for the most part. They hunt down the Ravagers. Oof. And again, there's barely anything left here for DakkoN. So he does pull away. DakkoN getting supply blocked. He's still stuck on 23 drones. He just hasn't had room to drone, to saturate. No, and this is the final army. Yeah, the final fight is Yan. He surrounds the army, takes out the roaches, the Ravagers. There's almost nothing left. There's, what, 3 roaches remaining. DakkoN has to get the hell out of here. It's a pull away. And it is just an uphill battle here at this point. There's just not much remaining. I know it's bold to go into 2-base muta, but as you can see, 2-base muta can be abused. And it's difficult to get away with. But what am I saying? Showing away the army. And the man with gun, he can stim, and he can win. He can win back. He's just rallying everything he can. Now he gets eyes on the third. And GG gets called. Yan, he will take game number 1. He will take a lead in the series. Whew. GG. He will take a lead. But again, thank you so much, Cosmos. Thank you so much for the raid. Do appreciate it. Do appreciate it. For those that are curious, for those that are wondering, Cosmos, he is the main Brazilian caster for this tournament. Not just caster, but organizer as well. He has put in a lot of work here into this tournament, into the Brazilian StarCraft circuit. Not just the circuit, but for Amantes de StarCraft, for Code for Giants Cup as well. He does put in a lot of work, and much love here to Cosmos. Again, he was covering this event in his own native language, in Portuguese, of course, Brazilian Portuguese. But of course, we came in a little bit later here, so we're actually behind by like an hour. We're like behind by like an hour or so when it comes to the events taking place. As we did wake up, or we did get some rest, we did get some sleep after Tuna Cup. But we're here covering Group D. And we're getting into game number 2. We still have 2 more matches ahead of us. We still have Yan versus MasTeR and Shakti versus DakkoN. And we'll see if we can force the ace match. The pressure is on DakkoN here. Pressure is on. So you can hear the beeps. Interesting. Game 2 is going to be on Neon Violet Square. Oh boy. Neon Violet Square, of course, being the largest map in the previous map pool and very often vetoed. Very often vetoed. We rarely got to see any games on Neon Violet Square, but we're seeing it here. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Neon Violet Square, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Hellfire. Oh. It is. Yeah. We'll get there. And again, because the map is so large, there's a higher chance that we can actually get into the mid game, that we can actually have a back and forth. As my eyes are definitely on the Zerg player for that. Bearing in mind that last game it was a pull first opener, pull first into early roach push, into earlier gases. Just hyper aggressive out of DakkoN. But here is Yan. And I just said his name, but in the top left-hand corner, we do have our blue Zerg, the Brazilian Zerg player. It is DakkoN, also for Team Hellfire. Going hatch first. Here we go. So this is going to be a 15-15. Looks like hatch first into 15 Overlord into 15 spawning pool. There it is. And I'm curious to see if DakkoN does go for an early Roach Ward. Remember, this is a gasless start or delayed gas start. This can lead into early roaches once again. Or this can even lead into 2-base muta. Now, the reason why I bring up early roaches and I bring up a 2-base muta, even though it is delayed gas, is because the gas is delayed. That means typically we would be skipping link speed. When the gases are this late, you just skip link speed and you go into your tech of choice. We'll see if that's the case for DakkoN, as he's making his queens. Yep, there it is, there's roaches. So as we mentioned, again, because of the delayed gas or because of late gases, there is no link speed, just rushing straight into roaches instead. Now, last game, this was some light commitment. It was only 3. Remember, it was only, I want to say 3 to 5. 3 to 5 roaches to harass across the map, to deny mining at the natural, and then DakkoN drone from there, attempting to get into 2-base muta. This could be the same, or this time we could commit to an all-in. I say that there's no link speed. Behind this, if we get link speed, then we can reinforce with links and move out with Ravager and just go for a Ravager ling all in. But I would imagine this is just going to be some early aggression, early pressure into droning. As lings get across the map, they will delay the CC just barely. Oh my god, just barely. CC gets delayed. And as you can see, there are 3 roaches in production, but only 3 roaches. This build looks very similar to what we saw in game 1. Very similar. So 3 roaches, then back into droning, and this should lead into 2-base muta. Now, on a larger map like Neon Violet Square, because the rush distance by ground is longer, it does mean that the aggression is a little bit weaker, the counterattack from the Terran should be weaker, and there's a higher chance that DakkoN gets away with 2-base muta. And there we go, Lair is on the way. Going for the Lair, into droning, into extra gases, into Aspire, most likely. Technically from here he can go into like 1-1 upgrades with Roach Ravager. He could head in that direction, but doesn't seem like that's DakkoN's style. Oh no! As Hellions they get across the map. What are the boys? The boys are being pulled, and some of them get roasted, but only some. Could have been so much worse. 3 roaches they get across the map. Drone's now going to be going down. As we got 1 more volley. And again, that could have been so much worse. As we got 1 final volley. Only 2 drone kills. Only 2. Thank God. That could have been disastrous. Meanwhile, the roach is getting free damage on the CC. But remember, the CC HP is really a resource. That could have been SCV kills. Oh. As he does pick up 2 more Hellions. 2 more Hellions go down. The Spire is on the way. And what's important, because the Hellion count is lower this time, 4 Hellions have gone down so far this game. Because the Hellion count is lower, there's less of a chance for Yan to punish the Spire, to punish the mutas. Not saying he won't, but now there's a lower chance. So here we go. Yan is moving out. Does move out. Let's get into the main. I believe reveals everything. Yeah, I believe he saw the Lair, and I believe he saw the Spire as well. Speaking of Banshees have arrived. They're making their way towards the expansion. Okay, some secure damage. Full force to cancel. But the Spire is done, and we do have enough money here for 5 mutas, getting him to 6. 5 mutas on the way. Oh, that's the base is going to be shut down. Expansion does fall. DakkoN is contained. But he's not killed. And we spoke about this earlier, how here on Neon Violet Square, there's a higher chance for these Zerg players to defend, to survive, and to get into 2-base muta. And so far, is pulling it off. Now, what's important is that this is not mass meter. It is 2 base meter, and we have 5 meters on the way. That is true, but only 5 meters. We do not have +1 air attack, and instead we're going into 1/1 upgrades into Roach Speed into Roach Ravager. As Helens are being shut down. Yan has to confirm what's going on, as it's looking like a 2 base all in from DakkoN. It is looking more and more like an all in. Queen goes down, but the scout is denied. And DakkoN is not droning. Remember, he's cutting workers at 44. 44 workers, that's all he has. And here we go. Here come the roaches. Here comes the all-in. And Yan doesn't see this coming. And Yan, he needs bunkers back at home. Without bunkers, without tanks, it's going to be a tough hold. It's going to be a tough hold here for Yan. DakkoN is moving out. Ravager's morphing in. Bringing those Ravagers. The army gets spotted. Marines getting caught out. Yan trying to get in position. He has a lot of Widow Mines. And that's ideal against Mutas, less so against Roaches. Roaches, they're tanky boys. Those are Vials. Ooh, mine just going off. Good connections. Likewise, more Widow Mines behind this. Oof. Nice pull away there with the Roaches, but guys, not going to be enough there. The concave is too good. Oh, the friendly fire! Oh my god! Insane friendly fire. The Marines go down. The Widow Mines, they do more damage here than the Roaches. Yeah, you can see there are 9 drones falling to the friendly fire. The Marines, the SCVs that come in, they surround, they arrest the Roaches. But this is still a shaky hold here for Yan. Yeah, very shaky defense. As he does pull all the boys. And more Roaches are funneling in. And DakkoN, I think he's done it. At DakkoN, he is doing so much here. 17 SCV kills. And he still has a healthy Roach army. Ravager is denied. Despite that, takes down 24 SCVs. And he's still rallying. That's what's scary here. DakkoN is still rallying across the map. Rallying in with more Roaches, still killing more SCVs, and again, Yan, he had 0 scouting of this. We did mention at the time that if he was aware, we'd see bunkers, right? We would have seen bunkers thrown down instantly, and a switch into tanks, no Widow Mines. But DakkoN, sorry, but Yan, he didn't see, didn't know, didn't scout. DakkoN catching it with his pants down, but does catch it. Start stepping in. Takes down 39 SCVs. Does force the center to lift. Likewise, trying to fight the Roaches head on, bleeding out a lot of Marines. And DakkoN, there's no reason to just follow this off the ramp. He doesn't have to. He can just maintain himself on the low ground. More boys being pulled. Oh god. SCVs look away, Bobby look away, GG gets called, and DakkoN, he will overwhelm, he will type the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. We're going to the ace match here again. Yan, he had a decent start to the game, but remember, he did scout the Mutas. He saw the Spire, he saw the Lair, but he did not see the follow-up, didn't realize there was no droning. There was no droning going on. We saw that DakkoN, he cut workers at 44, he cut workers at 2 base saturation. They just doubled down. He went for 1 massive Roach all in. He did catch Yan with his pants down. The pants were down. He was not ready at all. 0 bunkers in position. Likewise, he also had an army in the main. It was late to rotate down to the low ground. He was caught off guard. And more importantly, the friendly fire, right? The Widow Mine did do a lot of damage to the bio. Killed 9 Marines. GG. GG. Well played. Now we're getting ready for game number 3. The ace match is going to be on El Dorado. Let's go. To have El Dorado coming up next. And we'll see how this story ends. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, tying up the series 1-1 and making a series out of this, by the way. We have the Brazilian Zerg player, the Blue Zerg. Oh god, the Blue Zerg. Never mind, we're entering the other player first. Being forced into a tied up series, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the Red Terran representing Team Hellfire. We'll see if he can bring it back, as I would say he's favored in this series. Being forced into the ace match, it is Yan. Let's go. And in the bottom right hand corner, we have the player forcing the ace match, bringing it back here. The Brazilian Zerg, it is DakkoN. Also for Team Hellfire. Once again, going for a 15-15. And once again, he has the opportunity to go into roaches, which we expect to happen. Like, already when it comes to the openers, he's gone for the same opener every game in this series. It's always been 15-15 into an earlier roach warren, into 3 roaches, into droning, into 2 base lair. But the question in my mind, after that 2 base lair, do we commit into MasTeR, or do we do, once again, just like the previous game, into 2 base roach? Do we either try to hide the build and transition into 2 base roach play? Do we macro instead? We'll see. We'll see how many variations DakkoN has available to it. So just getting a rib. It's quite cold. Quite cold. But here we go. As you mentioned, yep, there it is. There's a fast roach warren. Again, this is the same opener. The same build 3 games in a row. Going for the fast roaches. From here, we can go into 3 roaches to move out across the map, then drone behind it. Reaper dips in. And Reaper will threaten it. So far, nice control by DakkoN. He does save the drone, does zone away. Meanwhile, a big shout to Boomcool in the chat. God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for resubscribing for 8 months. Oh my god, thank you so much. That's a lot of months. Might be a lot of months. Do appreciate the support. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the casting. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks again for the endless flow of StarCraft. Hi guys. Oh, hello. You're welcome. It's what we do, man. It's what we do. It's all we do, all the StarCraft. Of course, last night we were live with the Sparkling Tuna Cup, and later on this evening we're going to be live with the Wardy TV Monday. So, again, the non-stop StarCraft. As there it is, you can see the production tab, 3 roaches. As we mentioned, 3 roaches on the way. Again, this is the same build, the same opener every game in a row. But the follow-up has been different, and that's where my attention lies. Now, I say the follow-up has been different. Every game it's been 3 roaches, into droning, into lair, into 4 gases, into 2 base muta. But do we commit into MasTeR? Do we not? That's where the deviation usually arrives, or usually arises. As roaches are spotted. Back at home, Yan, he throws down a bunker. He has the high ground advantage as well. Yan looking very much so secure here. That is natural. And you can see this time Yan has a cleaner defense. Doesn't lose anything early on. Meanwhile, DakkoN is droning. He's taking gases. Oh. Roaches, they just rush past. They get an SCV. They get 1 SCV, but just the one so far. That's going to be a one-way trip. Wait for a second worker. I don't quite get it. There we go. Second SCV goes down. And Yan holds. Yan does hold behind this, going for a bio follow-up. Now, something that I find interesting here. If you notice, Hellion drop, no Banshee this time. For the first time this series, he's not going Cloak Banshee, he's going into a Hellion drop, and there's nothing at home to defend. The drone's going to get roasted, the roach production is still underway. The Spire's on the way as well, and this gets scouted. This gets, no, they light up, no, drones, get out of here. Oh god, 12 workers, 13 drones go down, not like this. DakkoN. Yeah, rough defense here. The Spire was spotted, and Yan is not done. And remember, as you mentioned, this time, no Cloak Banshee, this time early Stim, early Buyer, early Marines. And that will shut down the mutas even harder. The Spire has been scouted. We should be seeing a handful of mutas to harass. 5 mutas are enough to one-shot SCVs. Well, the question becomes, do we keep making nothing but muta? Do we switch into 1-1 upgrades, though, into roaches? Now 4 mutas on the way. There we go, up to 5. And only 5. So it looks like DakkoN, he is going to be switching into roach play. Yep, roach speed is in production. And we should soon be seeing Evo chambers as well. So okay, Evo chambers are on the way. This is the same follow that we saw last game, actually. So this does scream 2 base all in from the side of DakkoN. As mutas to make their way across the map. Massive Mind connects. Takes that one muta. Takes that one, and oh no! Oh my god. Mutas, they do slip away. Only 1 goes down, but that is enough to hinder this army, and again, the mutas are no longer a threat. Now, my concern here is that Yan is still making Widow Mines. Widow Mines, they're amazing against mutas, they're not that great against Roach Ravager. That's where tank production really excels. But Yan, he's yet to confirm. Like, to give credit to Yan, like, he still doesn't know what's going on. No saturation at the third. Yeah, he scans, he sees. 0 joining at the third base. Roach production underway. Bust into the natural. Drones, they once again line up. 8 drone kills. Ay, ay, ay. 8 workers do full, and DakkoN droning. After the damage. After the damage has been done, now he's droning. On the one hand, I like that he's droning. On the other hand, I wish this was sooner. This is late. These are late workers. You can see how far behind DakkoN is worker-wise. And now he's going for the infestation, but this should be for infestors, for hive tech. But this does feel late for DakkoN. And Yan should be the first to move out. Should be. Right now, the pressure's on these mutas to buy time. If the mutas, if they can keep this army busy long enough, then DakkoN can embrace the upgrades and can recover. But DakkoN, he's heavily reliant that these mutas buy time, and 1 muta goes down. Muta goes down to the turrets. Not ideal. We have 5 infestors on the way. Let's go. We need to buy time for those fungal growths. Remember, nowadays, infestors, when they spawn in, they have enough energy for a fungal already. They do not need pathogen glands. I mean, pathogen glands doesn't exist anymore. It is in by default. So that's going to be 5 fungals. Oh, god. Yeah, he stems in, catches out the roaches. He gets 1, he gets 2. Fungal does connect. And he's got 4 more. The fungals, they graze the army with nothing amazing. As Yanni does free split. Stemming in. We have more fungals, but where's the follow-up, right? Like, fungal is it's a supportive spell. What's it supporting? There's no Ravagers, another Infestor goes down, and yeah, he's done it. Yeah, he has done it. He has broken at DakkoN. There's nothing at the third. Marines, they rally into the natural. There's 1 fungal left. There's a handful of roaches here. The fungal connects, but again, the roach count is just not where it needs to be. Trying to make a stand, a final stand. But the roaches go down, and Yan, he breaks through. He gets broken, the natural GG gets called, and Yan, he will take the series 2-1. Taking down DakkoN. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Yan, he will claim the series. He will take down DakkoN 2-1. A shout to DakkoN though for making a series out of it and for forcing the ace match and for catching Yan off guard. I will say though that DakkoN, he did rely on the same opener every game of the series, and that did make him a little bit more predictable. I do think that because of that predictability, Yan had the strongest result in game 3. Like, he had the strongest response where he shut down the initial roaches, he shut down the mutas, and then he just moved out across the map. Like, it was a much cleaner game in the ace match just because Yan had adapted over time to the same build of DakkoN. GG. GG, well played. With that, Yan, he does claim the series, and up next we have our next matchup. Let's go. Let us go. We're getting ready here for our next best of 3. We're going to be following Yan into his next series into MasTeR for a TVP. Let's go. I mean, well, big shout to Defiance RTS. God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing for the first time. With Twitch Prime. Thank you so much, Defiance. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the casting. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft. Thank you, Papi. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, one and all. As we are jumping into our fresh best of 3. Jumping into our second last series of the broadcast. We still have 2 more series left. We have Yan versus MasTeR, and we also have Shakti versus DakkoN. So 2 more matches remaining. And here we go in the top right hand corner. We do have the Brazilian Protoss player, the #1 seed of the tournament for Team Hellfire. It is MasTeR. Ranked at #1 in the circuit. And in the bottom left hand corner we have the Brazilian Terran player, the blue Terran. It is Yan, also for Team Hellfire. Fun fact, these 2 players are actually really good friends. They actually did debut at around the same time as well, you know, around like 2020-ish era of StarCraft, 2019. I would say that in the beginning they were very close in skill, but over time, over the years, I mentioned before that specifically I want to say over the past 2 years, Yan has been on a hiatus, or he's been very inactive. He plays every now and then, but not as regularly as he used to. But MasTeR, he didn't back off. MasTeR didn't go on hiatus. MasTeR, he stuck around, and I mean, it was worth it in the end. Like, MasTeR, he did level up quite heavily to the point where at the moment I would say he is the best Protoss in Brazil and arguably the best Protoss player in all of Latin America. MasTeR, he improved quite a lot, and Yan, he more or less kind of stayed a little bit more stagnant. Like, Yan is still a GM, don't get me wrong. Like, he's still one of the best players in Brazil. But at one point, these 2 were more rivals, nowadays less so. Still good friends, though. Still good friends. Do have Yan going for his economic opener, going for a Rax expand. Meanwhile, MasTeR back at home going for a gate, a cyber into Nexus. As we settle into a big shout out to Ryu. Papi God. Thank you so much, Ryu, for the raid. Gracias, Papi, gracias. Buenas noches, buenas noches. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you played minimal TFT. Ryu. God damn it. But good to see you, Papi. Good to see you. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. Hope you had a good time. Hope the smudge was minimal. And welcome to the Brazilian StarCraft 2 circuit. El circuito brasileiro, Papi. Brasileiro. We are in the group stage. We're currently in Group D, and there are a couple of matches remaining here. We have our fresh best of 3 ready for you. And if you're a fan of Zerg, don't you worry. We got some Zerg after this. Do have a little bit of Zerg later. But now they're settling in. Yo, one of these days we'll cast Ryu in a tournament again. One day, Papi, one day. Well, we'll get him in. We'll get him in. Not in this tournament. This is only for Brazilians, but maybe in the next HSL. I would love to see Ryu in the next Hispanic StarCraft League. Potentially. As for now, calming down, we do have our Twilight Council opener at a MasTeR going to blink. He does have his 2 gates set up. Did I say 2? Getting up to 3. For sure, Cap. for HSL pack, for HSL, maybe. Did you see Vortex? Vortex came back for HSL, which was crazy. Este Vortex. He got second place. He beat Cham and he got second place to Juanito special. Was crazy Vortex again. Finals, yeah. Go to the finals. Go to the finals. I don't know if you saw, but he's very old school with his play. Like in ZVT, like a Lodling Bay Muta. Lodling Bay Muta. A lot of all-ins. Very old school. It was really cool to see. As we do have Yan opening up with his Mind Drop, but alas, MasTeR is in position. Remember, MasTeR, he did open up 3-gate Blink, a much safer style here out of MasTeR, going for a bit of a later third base, but a third nonetheless. And Yan is still looking for a way in. Still looking for a way in. MasTeR, he does push out. He's got his War Prism to reinforce across the map. He has very little to defend back at home, so there's potential for damage, but there's only one Widowmine. Only one mine. MasTeR making his way towards the main. MasTeR, he reacts in time, and the mine shot does not go off. When the Widowmine is going to go down. Takes down a Stalker. MasTeR blinks into the main. Where is the tank? There is none. Deep of the add-on goes down. Factory production under fire. It's getting out of hand. As MasTeR blinks out. And MasTeR doesn't do anything critical in the main, but what he did do is snipe the tech lab. Now there's no tech lab on the factory. There is no more tank production. There's only one tank left for Yan. And MasTeR can just rotate down. Ooh, tank shot going off. He rotates down to low ground. Tank is going to be out of range. The bunker should fall. And now it's just Vanilla Marine. Vanilla Marine's here. Oh, the Raven gets sniped. And these trades are brutal. Yeah, and he's holding, but these are expensive losses. Losing the Raven, losing the medevac, the bunker. And that tech lab. And MasTeR is not stopping. He's not stopping. He's not slowing down. Yeah, and he's barely hanging on. Tries to push in, but remember, he has no stim, he has no combat, he has nothing. He has no support for the Marines. And these are insane trades here. Almost every Marine going down. Boy's now being pulled. And Yan, he's holding, he's surviving, but he loses so many units in the process. At what cost, Papi? At what cost? Ay. And MasTeR is chilling. He's on 62 workers. He's on a 3-base economy. Charge on the way, +1. Bay on the horizon as well for Colossus. Does face check, does run into the tank. Jumping towards the main. And Ice Guy just showing off that Bay. Showing off the would-be Colossus. Oof, likewise drops into the main, delays the CC. The command center. Likewise, it threatens the main. Behind this, you see 2-base ghost production out of Yan. Okay, let's go. Oh god, these are still just brutal trades though. Losing another medevac. And you can see here, yeah, the economic advantage in favor of MasTeR, heavily in favor of MasTeR. With his 3rd base fully saturated, 4th base is now on the way. MasTeR looking very in form. And MasTer's just chilling. Behind this, Colossal Production's underway. Really, MasTer's just waiting for Yan's move out. And I don't really see Yan moving out anytime soon just because of all his losses. He's split out just so much of his army already. So he's still trying to build up. MasTer getting ready for his Zealot run by. Stretching on the left hand side. Nice mine shot, very nice. As the prism is denied, but Colossus have arrived. Trying to force their way in. That's still a lot of bio though. Shakti Yan has built up a hefty amount of Marines and Marauders. They'll say something to the mineral line. MasTer pushing on the right hand side. Oh my god, he just melts the bio. He respects the Vikings. So let's get another 9 SCV kills. Did I say 9? Getting up to even more than that. 10, 11, 12. Oh god, oh god, it's only one Zealot! No, it's only one. 14 SCVs. There's more where that came from. Behind this, MasTer going for a second robo, disruptor production, getting to 2-2 upgrades. MasTer just maintaining his lead. I'm still impressed that Yan has a comparable army. And he may just be forced into an all-in. Like, the best fights that Yan can hope for is MasTer pushing into him, into his defensive line, into his production. So far, MasTer is maxing out. I mean, really, both players are. Both players are maxing. Because Yan is on 3 bases and because he cannot take a 4th, his supply is actually going to be a little bit larger. As he has a super maxed army. Takes down a Colossus. Ooh, Nova does connect, though. Yeah, it takes down a Ghost, takes down a hefty amount of bio. Zealot run by does distract. You can see Yan being pulled apart. MasTer, he has an economy. He can afford these trades. Yan cannot. It was impressive that Yan built up this army, but again, like, he doesn't have much longevity here. Oh, the Nova! Oh my god, doesn't get the Ghost. He wants that. There we go. 3 Ghosts going down. A brutal connection. Another Nova. Oh my god, another connection. DTs are coming from behind. Thankfully, there's a scan. But a messy fight here. Vikings force to land, and Novas, they punish the Vikings. And GG gets called. MasTer, he will take the first game. He will take a lead in the series. Ooh, GG. Does take a lead. And again, it was impressive that Yan was able to fight back the way that he did and build up an army, but that was his only army. As we mentioned, like, he had no 4th base, he had no economy. It was one and done there for Yan. And we saw that MasTer was able to just have his way with him with those disruptors, with those purification overs, the Zealot run bys as well. After the rough early game, Yan just couldn't keep up. Like, if you weren't here for the start of the game, Yan, he just had a really rough start, losing a lot of tech, losing a lot of units. The Raven, the Medevac, the Tech Lab, so many Marines as well. Like, the 3-gate bling aggression of MasTer was very successful. And now we're getting ready for game number 2. Don't know the scene well enough. What MR level is this? This is like maybe 5.6k, 5.7. Like these are pros, or at least semi-pros. They used to be a lot more full-time back in the day, especially Yan. I mentioned this before, but Yan, he used to be a lot more committed to the game. But then, you know, he got into high school and started focusing on his studies. So Yan, he's less practiced than he used to be, like maybe 2-3 years ago. But MasTeR, he has committed to the game. He has been spending more time practicing, improving, and there's a reason why nowadays MasTeR, he is the best Protoss in Brazil, and arguably the best Protoss in Latin America. Arguably, of course, Mute has something to say about that. Mute is up there as well. Getting ready. As looks like game 2 is going to be on Abyssal Reef. Let's go. Yeah, all good, all good. All good. Right now we're in the group stage. We're in the group stage of the Brazilian StarCraft 2 circuit. So because of that, in some of the other groups, we were actually featuring some Masters players, some lower ranked players. But specifically here in Group D, this is the group of death. Like Group D, we've got pure GMs. Some, of course, higher ranked than others, but all GM nonetheless. They could all threaten each other. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Abyssal Reef, we have the Brazilian Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Team Hellfire, the #1 ranked player in the circuit. It is MasTeR. Waiting for the zoom. There it is. Ah, beautiful. #1. And spawning. In the top left-hand corner, we have his good dear friend. We have the Brazilian Terran player, the blue Terran, also representing Team Hellfire, rank #7. It is Yan. Here we go. So we are jumping into game number 2. You can see the history between these two players as well. 75% in favor of MasTeR. Again, back in the day, back many years ago, these two were much closer in skill. Very close and very neck and neck, I would say, actually, as they both kind of came into the scene at around the same time. But in modern StarCraft, MasTeR, he has eclipsed Yan when it comes to that. Has been able to kind of skyrocket ahead. And is now coming in as arguably even the favored player to win the entire tournament. I did mention the group stage earlier. For those that may be tuning in for the first time, this is the Brazilian StarCraft 2 circuit. This is the group stage. This is the online group stage. The Brazilian scene did come together, did crowdfund, did book a venue, and the playoffs. There's going to be an offline portion of this tournament in the playoffs in Sao Paulo. So they did book a venue. They also are helping to pay for travel for the players as well. And there is going to be an offline finals here in June. So still a ways away, next month. Until the offline finals, though, we do have the online portion, which is the group stage, right, to determine who makes it to that offline event. So this is group stage 2, and then we have the double elimination playoff bracket. So there's still a lot to go through to determine who makes it to Sao Paulo. Sort of things where, again, the best players in Brazil are facing off in this tournament. You may be, if you're maybe more of a less of a Brazilian fan and more of an international fan, you might be recognizing one player, Kelazur Diego, who is not a part of this tournament. For those that are unaware, Kelazur is actually not in Brazil. Kelazur, quite a number of years ago, did actually travel and is staying in Europe. I believe in Norway. I keep forgetting. It's either Norway or the Netherlands. It's one or the other. It's one of the N countries. I think it's Norway. I think it's Norway. But Diego, he's been there for a couple of years. Every now and then he does come back home to Brazil to visit his family, like for holidays, for Christmas, things like that. But he only does visit briefly. So for the most part, does spend his time in Europa. So now the Adepts are going to be cleaned up. We do have our Twilight Council opener out of Yan. Meanwhile, delayed CC. Sorry, the Twilight Council opener out of MasTeR. Delayed CC for Yan. Now going for his expansion, moving out with his initial Reaper Hellion, and MasTeR does fully wall off at the natural. Once again, going 3-gate blink. If Yan can cook, so can you. See what you did there, I guess. I mean, Yan is really talented, like, especially in the early years. Like, Yan as a 15-year-old player, he was popping off. It was crazy. As you mentioned, like, after that, did focus on high school, did focus on, you know, his studies. There we go. Widowband drop into the natural. So if our MasTeR does pull away in time. Oh! And he will lose one probe here. One probe goes down. Hellions, they come in from behind though, not bad. They get another worker, but only one. And we do see Yan's follow-up here, going into Banshee play. No cloak. Vanilla Banshees out of Yan. Tank production as well. He's building up back at home. MasTeR claiming his third. And is moving out. Now, we saw how much damage this move out did last game from MasTeR, as he was able to just pull Yan apart and wreak havoc. So Prism's moving in. Remember, he can warp in 3 Stalkers at a time. And with that high ground vision, with that Warp Prism, he can go into the main. You can blink into said main base. Across the map, Yan getting into the main as well, I believe with his Reapers, but is cleaned up. Let's go down. MasTeR, I believe he was forced to warp in defensively back at home. And what do we have to defend? We have one Banshee in the tank at the natural. What is the main looking like though? Uh-oh. The main is exposed. And once again, he's going for the production, going for the Tech Lab, denying any more tank production. The Tech Lab is going to be sniped. Banshee under fire. Gets a Banshee. Gets a Medevac. These are brutal pickoffs. He can get the tank as well. Gets the tank. Get the hell out of here. Boys are being pulled. There's a recall. And MasTeR does get away. That was insane damage. Got a Banshee, Medevac, tank, and the Tech Lab as well, which means tank production is delayed. And Yan is pushing. Yan, he's moving out. He has to move out across the map. He has to do something here. MasTeR looking to intercept. A couple of boys are being pulled. A lot of boys, actually. As MasTeR, he does focus on another one of those Banshees and the Cyclone. There's one tank left. And remember, these are vanilla Marines. There's no stim. There's no stim. There's no combat shields. The Marines are only here to buffer, to support. Let's take down a Stalker. Yan trying to get across the map. MasTeR doing such a great job at just picking away at the army. Just nibbling away at the forces until there's almost nothing left. Alright, now we have 2 shield batteries ready. Shield batteries are set. More boys have arrived. He goes for the final tank, and the tank goes down. Massive pickoff. And without the tank, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. Just vanilla Marines. So far, the control is good. Blinks back, bleeds out a couple of Stalkers, but he falls back to the shield batteries. And yeah, from here he's fine. He can maintain himself. Here comes an extra warp in. Picking up 12 SCVs. And we run out of steam. GG gets called. MasTeR, he will take the series 2-0, taking down Yan, and I believe securing himself in first place in the group. GG. GG, well played. Whew, MasTeR, he will take the 2-0. Impressive play there. Impressive performance. Just pulling Yan apart time and time again with his 3-gate blink aggression. Time and time again, able to get into the main base, able to catch out Banshees, tanks wherever he can. And Yan had just said he was all in. At the end of the game, he was all in completely. And despite the all in, he couldn't really get across the map. By the time he did, he barely had anything left, anything remaining. He had one tank, he had a handful of Marines. Not enough. Not enough. GG well played. And now we have one series left here in the group. One final match. It's going to be a best of 3 between Shakti and DakkoN. Let's go. We have Shakti and DakkoN facing off in a Protoss vs Zerg. to determine the final standings of the group. After this match, after this series, we'll be going over the Wikipedia page, we'll be going over the group standings, and we'll be able to figure out where everyone is and who has made it to the playoffs. As this is the final group of the group stage. Oh boy. Here we go. We do need un momento. Just catching up. Oh, hello, Light SKR. Hello, hello. Bienvenidos, bienvenidos. Alright, here we go. We have our players. The Vitas are done, and game 1 is going to be on King's Cove. Let's go. King's Cove up next. One of the larger maps in the map pool. Very large map, very defensive as well. And we'll see what kind of cheese DakkoN has ready for us, because I'm expecting aggression. Let's go. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of King's Cove, we have the... Oh, sorry, bottom right. Bottom right first. We have, in the bottom right corner, we have the Brazilian Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Team Hellfire. It is DakkoN. Going for the 15-15. Waiting for the zoomed. There we go. Rank number 20 in the circuit standings. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the veteran himself, the blue Protoss for Eximius Gaming. It is a Shakti. Rank number 9. Again, Shakti, he is a very old school player. He has been around for many, many years when it comes to the Latin American scene and Latin American circuit. Shakti, I want to say maybe even the oldest player amongst all the competitors here as well. But I did mention before, he did retire. He did retire, like, I want to say 2 years ago. Around 2 years ago, he did retire. But recently did return at the start of the year to start playing in tournaments again. You're never really gone. It was great to see his return. Very heartfelt as well. Like, again, it's been... I remember casting Shakti back in 2020, 2019. Back when we first started casting StarCraft. So it was really cool to see him again. Nowadays, you know, he has... I believe he has a family. I believe he has a family now. I believe he's, you know, focusing on his IRL career. Like, Shakti has other things going on and doesn't devote as much time to StarCraft anymore, but, you know, still decides to come back and compete whenever he can. And still did maintain and retain a lot of skill, is what I will say. For sure. Coming into this DakkoN, going 15-15, going for the macro hatchery on the lower ground. Let's go, inspired by Eric. What I love here, especially when it comes to ZVPs, players like Claw, players like DakkoN as well, players like Dorminoko, you can definitely see like their idolization or their influence, the Eric influence all over them. I appreciate it. Eric, of course, being the best Zerg player in Brazil. And Eric, he does often come up with his own builds, his own playstyles. As we have our head-to-head. Shakti with 100% win rates over DakkoN. But it is always really cool to see them, the other Brazilian Zerg players, and how they emulate Eric. I think the best case scenario of that was yesterday when we were casting Claw, and it all culminated in Claw versus Eric, where they were mirroring each other almost to a T. It was crazy when it came to their build and when it came to their opener. It was really cool to see Claw versus Eric. For now, though, we're going to be joining, going to be saturating. And we're setting up for a longer game. DakkoN, he's been hyper aggressive so far in our tournaments, but in this ZVP at least, we do have something more standard. DakkoN droning, saturating. Shakti did open up double Stalker. A little bit surprising here with these Stalkers. He's going for the Overlords. We need Link to defend, and alas, DakkoN, he was greedy. No Link production whatsoever. Overlord goes down, supply blocking DakkoN. Very nice pick off here by Shakti. Very ambitious, but again, does get 2 Overlords. Snipes the Overlords, poking away at the Queens. The Lings are slow. Shakti, he's punishing. Even taking down the active Tumor. Tumor goes down. Nice positioning here in the mineral line. One Stalker does get picked up. Once again, oh no! The other Stalker also wedging himself here in the mineral line as well, reducing surface area, trading as efficiently as possible. Second Stalker falls, but these are the most efficient trades you can go for here, losing 2 Stalkers for all those Lings. Not the worst trade from Shakti. Back home, getting into Blink of all things, not Stargate, not Oracle, not Glaives, but fast Blink Stalkers. Crazy. Before the 3rd. So this is a bit of an older school build out of Shakti. Very, like, no one opens Blink like this. Not anymore. Very old school. But this opener, this build works out a little bit better against DakkoN just because of delayed link speed, right? Link speed was delayed, gases were delayed. So these Stalkers, they traded better than they otherwise should have. And even here, we're trickling in too soon. There we go, 32 more Lings on the way. Trying to collapse on the Stalkers. Stalkers, they do get behind the mineral line. Blink is done. Blink is complete. Despite that, these Lings, they should clean this up. Yeah, they should, and they will. And this was not an efficient trade for Shakti. Shakti, he bleeds out 5 Stalkers. He recalls back home. And again, now you can see a little bit more clearly here as to why Blink Stalker openers are not really common. They're not really seen too often. They can be shut down by pure Ling. Oh, DakkoN behind this, going Ling Hydra. Let's go. Hydra on the way. Lings, they peel off into the mineral line. They do get the shield battery. Shield battery goes down. Hello, 007. Hello, hello. Buenos dias, baby. Buenos dias. As DakkoN is cutting workers early on here, this is almost looking like an all-in. Almost. Evo Chambers on the way. This tells us that we're looking for further upgrades of... as we are rebuilding those Overlords. Ling Hydra is amassing, but DakkoN, he barely has... When I say barely, he actually has 0 saturation at his 3rd. There's just no drones. So despite the Evo Chamber, this has to be an all-in. And that's DakkoN massing up more Hydras, building up more Lings. Buenas noches, buenas noches. Bom dia, bom dia. As yeah, DakkoN is committing. So again, the Evo Chamber looks like he just threw it down. Like there's no upgrades, there's no droning, no saturation, no nothing. It's just purely a Ling Hydra all in out of DakkoN, and he's luring Shakti onto creep. And now's the time. Lings is going for a massive run by a massive counterattack. The wall is closed though. Yeah, Lings, they don't get any damage. That means there's that much less at home to defend. Lings are going for the 3rd again. The shield are putting in a lot of work. Oh god, this is not getting much done, I'll be honest. Yeah, Ling Rambai gets shut down, and Shakti, he blinks in. He blinks in, he's going for the kill, going for the throat, diving on top of those Hydras. Boys are being pulled in a moment of desperation. And DakkoN, he's being pulled apart here. The all-in did fail. I was thinking that he might try to catch the army, but he went for the massive Ling Rambai instead, and the Rambai didn't achieve much at all. Didn't achieve anything. He got 3 probes. He got 3 probes for the counterattack. Hydras are falling. I believe there's 1 Hydra left, down to 0. Sorry, down to 1. More reinforcements have arrived, but these are still better trades for Shakti. And with his DakkoN, he's barely holding on. I mean, look at the economies here. He's down to almost half the worker count of Shakti. He barely has a standing economy. I mean, he was all in to begin with, but now even more so. Now he doesn't have the army. Bailiness is on the way, but Shakti he can overwhelm. With just a purely gateway composition, we don't need Colossus, Storm, we don't need splash damage. It's all here. It's all here in the Zealot. Base goes down. Shakti pulls away. Getting ready for his own rotation. Warping in more Zealots. He has no Robo, so the Warpins are delayed. And that is going to be 11 Banelings morphing in. DakkoN getting ready for one final fight. And these Banelings, they can punish the Zealots at least. The Hydras will be a different story there. So here we go. Bases are done. They shut down the first wave of Zealots. But there's a second wave. There's still so many more charge lots. Yeah, they get on top of the Hydras. The boys are being pulled. And the Zealots are going to be going down. And not bad. He's up with the Zealots. Here comes wave 3 though. They just don't stop coming. The third wave has arrived. And that is enough to break DakkoN. That is not going to be enough. Once again, boys being pulled. Larva, they do delay some of the reinforcements. But there it is. GG gets called, and Shakti, he will take game number 1. GG. Does take game 1, does take lead in the series. Again, DakkoN, he did opt to go for the all-in, but the execution of the all-in was a little bit lacking. Unfortunately, he had a massive amount of lings ready for a run-by, but the wall was sold at the natural, and we saw just a really rough engagement at the third base as well. Like, he killed 3 perps. He killed 3 workers for like 25 lings, and it wasn't worth it in the end. Likewise, back at home, he barely couldn't hold on because of that, and GG. GG, well played. With that, Shakti takes the lead, and we'll see if DakkoN can bring this back and force the ace match. Now, again, as you saw in that last game, as we've seen so far in today's broadcast, DakkoN is very cheesy. DakkoN is very cheesy, he's very all-in, very aggressive. I was hoping that we could see a more standard game, and the opener of this game was standard, but he just never joined his third. he just never made any workers past like 44, so he just committed, and yeah, with that, as the game progressed, couldn't quite keep up. We'll see if this time he actually drones up his third base, or if he has another cheeky build ready for us. Let's go. We'll see if he has another cheeky build as we are getting into game number 2. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Frost Sign, we have our red Zerg player making a drone. Let's go. I was concerned he was going to 12 pull drone pull, which he has already done so far in this tournament. But he's making workers here. He is Brazilian Zerg for Team Hellfire. It is DakkoN. Going for the 15-15. Same opener he went for last game. Same opener. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Brazilian Protoss player representing Ximius Gaming, the blue Protoss. It is Shakti. You gotta speed through the second intro like Ice Guy. He doesn't wait. He doesn't. He has no chill, but he has no chill. He just zooms in. As you can see, they don't have actually too much history. There's the dates for those matches, and it looks like both of those series were played last year in 2024. So this is actually the first time they're facing off in 2025. Of course, Shakti has that advantage over DakkoN. As we have DakkoN going gasless, once again going for the macro hatchery on the low ground. The same opener so far, 2 games in a row. Same opener. He does take his gas a little bit earlier, which makes sense in this matchup, just for earlier link speed to have a more secure defense. When I say earlier, it's still late compared to a standard build. Just getting into gas. And from here, we'll see how we tech up. Last game, we had MasTeR Hydra 2-base all-in. This time, we could go into Roaches. We could go into 2-base lair into Mutaplay, for example. Once again, Shakti opening up Twilight Council. I mean, that's the other scary thing here, is that DakkoN, this style that he went for last game is ideal against standard play, against, you know, Adept into Stargate, Oracle into a third. But Shakti, he's not playing standard. Remember, Shakti, he's a more older school player, he's a veteran of the scene, and he does things his own way. Twilight Council opener should be Glaives or DTs, but because it's Shakti, I'm not ruling out Blink. I would with any other player, but last game did open Blink Stalkers. There it is. Whew, okay, playing with a more modern build, Glaive Adepts. Now, there are different variations. We could see 4-gate Glaives with a Robo into something more committed. This can turn into a 2-base all-in, 6-gate Glaive Adepts. Right now, I don't see a Robo. If the game progresses any further without a Robo, this could be 3-gate Glaives economic build into a 3rd base. Like, the resources that would have been spent on the Robo are instead going to be spent on a Nexus. So this could be a macro variation of Glaive Adepts. We'll see. We'll see when and if he does get a Robo. Yep, there it is, 3rd base. So this is 3-gate Glaives into a 3rd. This is a build that Strange popularized a couple of years ago. Strange being the Russian Protoss player. And this actually did hit the mainstream. And some of the other European Protoss players did mix it in. Players like Max, players like Skillus. They did adopt said build. This is being done in a slightly different way. But basically, this doesn't have to get as much damage as a result. Glaive Adepts, they can apply pressure, but remember, there's no Robo, which means there's no Warp Prism, there's no way to reinforce across the map, and you have to be that much more careful because there are no Oracles to defend back at home either, to defend against Ling run-bys. So you don't want to commit with these Adepts, you want to preserve them. You want to poke in, maybe get a bit of damage, force a reaction, build them up though, and come back home. If these Adepts go down, then your 3rd base is going to be exposed. As Adepts say poke in, they confirm 0 saturation at the 3rd, which is very suspect. DakkoN has a full wall at the natural. Roaches are building up, this time a Roach base opener. Nulling into Hydra. Ooh, and yeah, Shakti does force Eva Chamber to complete. And that shouldn't have happened. The Roaches have arrived. Behind this, we do have Charge on the way for Shakti. He is probing, he's getting up to 50 workers, making 3 probes at a time. Adepts, they race back home. But now we have the follow-up. It's going to be a 1-2 punch. Glaive Adepts into Charge Lots. Into Charge Lot Archon. Okay. So building up into Zealot Archon. Meanwhile, DakkoN, he's still not droning. He's still not droning, by the way. He should be by now, but he isn't. So it looks like a 2-base all-in. It looks like a 2-base all-in out of DakkoN. We'll keep an eye on that production tab to see if he makes any more workers. Oh, never mind. 6 drones. Okay. But because these workers are late, this is a rough position for DakkoN. This is late workers, late droning. But at least he is. So DakkoN, now he's joining up. I would say this is, again, late. So these Roaches, they have to do damage. Like, you can see how many Roaches he invested in. They have to get some value. Does move out. We'll see what he can get done. Meanwhile, we do have a Adept Harass across the map. With that War Prism. Roaches, they poke in. But so far, Shakti is in position. He's got Immortals back home as well. He has Immortals, nice force fields, trying to lock down the army. Let's take it across the map. They're not really getting much done. They go for the queen, and they will get it. Yeah, the roaches overextend, and they do not trade well against these zealots. Queen goes down, and zero mining at the third. We've been here before. Yeah, DakkoN, he is all in. He's you know, I was trying to give him some credit earlier, being like, oh, look, he's making 6 drones. He's macroing. No. There's zero saturation at the third. Did make some workers, but he is still just doubling down, making nothing but roaches, hydras, plus on range. Hydra range as well. It's gonna be all or nothing for DakkoN. Oh, I say that now he starts droning. Ah, God. It's one or the other, Pappy. One or the other. You can't do both. You can't commit this hard and then start droning. That's crazy. As Archons have arrived, the roaches are getting punished. Where are the zealot reinforcements, though? There we go. 5 zealots at a time. We need those charge lots. Yeah, Shakti is moving in and collapsing the army. Oh, he shuts down all the roaches. The roaches, they crumble. And now the Hydra are exposed. Now it's time for the Hydras. Zealots, they trickle in, and DakkoN, he's being overwhelmed. He just does not have an army. Again, he was very uncommitted. He was very indecisive when it came to what he was doing. At times, he was making nothing but units. At other times, he was droning back and forth. And you do one or the other, Pappy. In the end, cool with his pants down. And Shakti, he will just overrun the natural. So a couple more roaches trickling in. DakkoN, he never really got across the map. Not with any substantial army. Boys are being pulled into charge lots. GG gets called, and Shakti, he will take the series at 2-0, taking down DakkoN. GG. Whew. GG, well played, Shakti. He will claim the final series of the broadcast. GG, well played. DakkoN, unfortunately, not quite able to pull one off here over Shakti. Not quite able to. With that, GG. GG, well played. Ooh, I believe that does secure Shakti in this group. Actually, let's find out. Let's find out together here. As we do have our standings, we do have our group. I'll actually give a link in the chat if you guys want to have a look together. Let's go. Here we go. As we switch things over and catch up on those standings. Okay. Here we go. So we have Group Stage 2. Let's actually zoom in a little bit. There we go. We have Group Stage 2 here. We have, over the course of the weekend, we did go over all of these groups. We did miss Group C. Group C, we did barely miss, so I do apologize for that, but all the other groups we have covered. Out of Group A, we had a Kamikaze, Dominoko, and MasTeR. Kamikaze and Dominoko coming out in 1st and 2nd place. We have, of course, MasTeR coming in 3rd. Coming into Group B, we had Eric, Claw, and Tatagiba. We had our trifecta of Zerg players making it through. Now, I do have an update. Here. Tatagiba, he did make it through, but we did, Cosmos did notify us earlier this morning that Tatagiba, he is not able to compete. He's not able to compete. Why is that? Felicidades. Congratulations. His wedding is actually coinciding with the dates for the playoffs. So he actually can't play. He actually cannot compete. I mean, technically, I guess he could bring like a PC to his wedding, and he could maybe, like, I don't know, maybe during like the reception, or maybe like during the after party, he could maybe like play and compete in some StarCraft. Hard to say, but that's probably ill-advised. That's probably, So congratulations, Tatagiba. He is getting married later on this month, and because of that, he won't be able to compete in the playoffs. Because of that, I believe Sefirofe, the 4th place player in Group B, is going to be taking his place. So Sefirofe is going to be stepping in. My condolences to Tatagiba, but regardless, congratulations. Congratulations nonetheless. Scrolling down, we have Group C. We have INexorable and AlisoN making it out in 1st and 2nd place. We had Elevolts making it out in 3rd place. And then we had a Group D. Group D, of course, with our standings finishing up. Can we refresh? Do we have any updates, Pappy? Not quite. Not quite. Not quite. We'll get them updated. But in the end, of course, MasTeR did take down Yan, and Shakti took down DakkoN. Oh, sorry, DakkoN did take him down. So with those wins, MasTeR comes out in first place. MasTeR comes out in first place, and Shakti, aka Nano, is now called Shakti. We'll have to fix that up. But Shakti, he does come out in second place. So MasTeR in first, Shakti in second, and Yan in third place. As unfortunately, DakkoN did not take a series, did take a map off of Yan, but did not defeat Shakti in that final round. So in the end, it is going to be MasTeR, Shakti, and Yan making it out of Group D. And that leads us into the playoff bracket. Leads us into the playoffs. Leads us into the playoffs here, as we do have, or as we should be updating this momentarily. We have the seeding already done. Okay, so in the beginning, let's actually zoom in a little bit. Can we? No, not quite. So we have KamiKaze. We have KamiKaze is going up against second place in Group D. That should be Shakti. So KamiKaze versus Shakti in the upper bracket quarterfinals. We have Eric versus AlisoN in a ZVP. Looking forward to that. We have INexorable versus Claw in a TVZ. Looking forward to that as well. We have MasTeR versus Dominoko. You can see there that is Group D first place up against Dominoko. So MasTeR versus Dominoko in the lower portion of the upper bracket quarterfinals. Likewise, the lower bracket is also going to be seeded with the third placing players. The third placing players that get seeded directly into the lower bracket is double elimination, and this will begin when exactly? May the 11th at 4 a.m. AST. Let's go. That's going to be 3 a.m. KST, and that's going to be May the 10th over in Brazil. The day before. So yes, we do have the weekend of May the 10th and 11th. That is going to be when this event does take place. Remember, this is not the playoffs. This is not the offline portion yet. I believe the offline portion is going to be maybe like top 4, like something like that, like top 4-ish, top 6 is going to be left over for the playoffs. Sorry, for the offline event for the venue in Sao Paulo. Meanwhile, the first round is still online. This initial round is still going to be online here. For the playoffs and for the lower bracket as well. So it's going to be exciting, going to be good stuff. Again, we have some very heavy hitters here. We have Eric, INexorable, Shakti, MasTeR, Claw, Dominoko, AlisoN, and KamiKaze. Coming into this, obviously, we're a little bit biased. We're big fans of Eric, and we're wishing Eric the best. But respect where respect is due. We have INexorable as the best Terran in Brazil, and also MasTeR as the best Protoss in Brazil as well. So we expect those three to make it far. There are definitely players that can threaten them. There are players like, you know, KamiKaze, AlisoN, Claw, Dominoko, Shakti. They can threaten those top players, but they're still going to be favored. Still going to be favored. So we'll see if anyone can, or if any one of them can be broke down. And again, this is going to be next weekend. Next weekend is going to be the playoff bracket. Let's go. And we'll be there for it. We'll be there for it. I believe when it comes to our schedule, there is going to be a bit of conflicting schedule here. Let me just catch up. I believe the thermal 2v2 circuit is going to be clashing with day 2. So day 1 we should be fine. Day 2 of those playoffs is going to be clashing with the May edition of Uthermal's tournament. So we might do like a replay cast, or we'll figure something out. We'll figure something out to cover day 2. It's probably going to be a replay cast. We'll do that from replays. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Otherwise, with that, we're wrapping up here for today. We just finished up the group stage here of the Brazilian StarCraft 2 circuit. We're going to be live once again later on tonight in around 9 hours. So 9 hours from this message, we're going to be live here with the Wardy TV Monday. That is a weekly open tournament. It is centered around the Korean time zone, but also European as well. So we often see European and Korean players. North American, Latin American representation a little bit lighter for the Wardy TV Mondays. But that is going to be what we're covering later on in 9 hours' time. Wedding more important than SE2? How dare he? If he competes, the peace in home is over. Oh no, oh no. The grand finals, we find the last boss, Kelazar. Yes, we'll fly him in. We'll fly him in from Europe. We'll get there. Catch you later. So yes, so in 9 hours time, we have the YanXII Monday. Otherwise, hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Hope you all had a great time here, and look forward to some more Brazilian StarCraft in the future next weekend for that playoff bracket. Otherwise, a big shout to iScar, for, of course, for adminning and for running and for observing the event. Really cool to see. So much love to iScar, and also a big shout out to Cosmos. He gave us a big raid earlier, and Cosmos, he is the organizer, caster, and one of the big names in the Brazilian StarCraft 2 scene. So much love to Cosmos. El Cosmito, papi. Ah, beautiful. So much love to Cosmos. He is a near and dear friend, of course, and we often do try to cast as much Brazilian StarCraft as we can. Cosmos, he does host and run a lot of tournaments, and we do what we can here in English for the CranKy Ducklings. We do what we can. Much love to Cosmos, much love. But with that, GG, well played. With that, we are going to be wrapping up. No 1,000 ladder games for you because you won against, like, suppose. True, if you're just now tuning in, if you missed out on the Big Brain Bouts, I did have a show match a couple of days ago, and the VOD is now on YouTube. The VOD is on you. I'll post it in the chat. Shameless plug. Let's go. Big Brain Bouts. I recommend it. It was a lot of fun. I did a lot of prep. I did a lot of prep work for this, by the way. There you go. Link is in the chat. But I did a lot of prep work. I think I laddered like 10 or 11 days straight leading into the show match. Like as soon as Roddy reached out about the show match, I was like, okay, let's go. Well, let's lock in. And we did like non-stop grinding every day on stream. And I did a lot of custom games off stream as well, learning a new build, which is what I showcased in Game 1 and Game 2. That is an Eric build, but it's related to the Brazilian scene. It's an Eric build. I did learn an Eric build, specifically versus mech, which did quite well. So do recommend it. Do recommend checking out the VOD, checking out the YouTube VOD. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for support. Again, Rotterdam did cast it over on the Basilisk channel. And we are going to be wrapping up here for the morning. I am tempted to ladder, but at the same time, it was a really intense weekend, and I would like to get some food. I'd like to get some rest, and really just catch up on editing VODs and scheduling VODs. So maybe next time we'll get into some ladder. Also, like after the show match, I do kind of want to take it easy on laddering now. I'm like, we're done. Like, like that was, we're done, papi, for the time being. So we'll see how we bring it all together. But yeah, with that, we're gonna be wrapping up. So thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in. Who's live at the moment? We'll give someone a raid. We'll give someone some love. Who's live? Jason is live. Esther Jason. But we'll find someone to raid. So with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. And we'll see you guys in 9 hours time for the YanXII Monday. Also, true. We just got an update. If you're a regular when it comes to watching open weeklies, Pegasaur Monday. I believe Pegasaur Monday, they just announced that they're moving from Pegasaur Monday. I mean, for us, it's Pegasaur Tuesday, but they're moving to Wednesdays. Yes, they're moving to Wednesdays instead. They're moving a day later. Which means we could cast Monday Night Weekly. So usually it goes YanXII Monday into Monday Night Weekly into Pegasaur Monday, right? It's like the Korean Weekly into European Weekly into the American Weekly. And usually what we do is we cast the Korean Weekly and the American Weekly, and we're usually sleeping during the European one. But if there's no longer going to be back to back, we could try to cast the Monday Night Weeklies. It's possible, or I could sleep. I mean, sleep is also good. We'll figure it out. But yes, they are rescheduling the Pegasaur Monday to a day later, which means we need to also move and shift our schedule around. This means that tomorrow there is no Pegasaur Monday. Tomorrow we're probably going to spend all day casting the GSL qualifiers. The GSL qualifiers, they did take place last week, and I know that a lot of people have been jumping on them. I know that Wardy was casting the replays. I think Zombigo was casting the replays. I think Steadfast was casting like everyone's been casting the replays. I've been avoiding spoilers. I've been avoiding them. But we'll do a GSL replay cast tomorrow. That's the plan. That's when. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, Este Hyper One. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Do appreciate it. But yeah, so tomorrow is probably going to be a GSL replay coverage for those qualifiers, and Wednesday/Tuesday is going to be Pegasus Monday. Okay. So we have to shift some things around in our schedule. We'll get there. Okay. So yeah, just giving a PSA as to what's coming up next. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Otherwise, thank you so much. We do appreciate it. So we're gonna be heading off for the day. Usually I do ladder and stream, but not today. We'll take the day off again. That's my reward for winning the show match. But tomorrow I should be live on my channel. After the cast, I'll probably go live on my channel and ladder for a little bit. Otherwise, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, ciao, bye, ciao. Also, if you want to support us, !Patreon in the chat. True. !Patreon. You're gonna support us via Patreon. All the money on Patreon goes towards players, as it is all for prize pools to increase the prize pool of our tournaments. So it's all done via Patreon. You can support us there. Otherwise, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Hasta luego. Ciao, bye, ciao. Hasta luego.